Welcome back, everybody. My name is Alex Anthony, and today we're going to be doing Cut and Called episode number 7 featuring me. So I will be on here for, this is about a 7-hour stream that we have today. This was on a Friday. It was actually last Friday. So I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. Like I said, I want to get everyone caught up to like kind of where we are from the very first time I featured myself on one of these streams to like kind of where the streams are right now. Like, just covering all of them when I can. Some of them have been longer. Like the last one, we did 8 of 16 hours. The one before that, we did 16 of 16 hours. And this is a 7-hour stream. And you will get me for about 5 hours. I leave around like midnight or so. So last one I didn't start, but I finished. This one I don't finish, but I do start. So let's get into the action. Before we kind of jump into it, I just want to give a quick little brief about every player at the table. We've got currently no seat 1. Seat 2 is OMC/Jeff. They are not an OMC, I'll put it that way, but they do go by OMC. Seat 3 is Mike V, awesome dude. Seat 4 is me. Seat 5 is unfilled at the moment. I believe Oscar. I don't know how I pronounce his name. I think Oscar. Oscar comes in at seat 5. Brant in at the 6. 7 is, I forget who's in the 7. Is that? Oh, that's his table right. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's Angel in the 7th seat, and then John will be in the 8th seat, and I believe it's V. We're gonna pronounce it in the 9th seat, V. So let's jump into it. So OMC is not an OMC. Mike is a tight, solid, conservative player. I am me. Brant is an unknown. Angel, we've played with a couple times, but like also still kind of like relatively unknown. Like we just haven't seen a ton from them. And V, I believe we played once with them before. I'll have to check. We'll do this on the next time that we feature that stream itself. But I believe the exact week before, 7 days before this stream, I played with them as well. So I'm pretty sure I remember them being a pretty aggressive player, like aggressive. Like pushing the action like a mom type player almost. So that was what I had going into my brain. So we straddle first hand. We have a 10-8 offsuit. Mike V called with the Queen 9 suit. I believe they were completing. Yeah, so it goes around. Angel called on the button with the King Queen offsuit. Angel, you can apply some pressure there, my friend. You can put on like the 3x, the 4x raise there. That's fine. V called out of the small blind, and we're gonna go 4 ways to the flop. And it was a 9-5-3 rainbow. Mike here flopping top pair, bets out. I fold. Angel is probably going to fold, and V probably going to fold as well. Sorry, I wasn't on 2x speed. All right, and Mike will take down the first hand. We have, I think, just call her. It was unknown or nobody or something. She just didn't want to like have a name at the table. The lady on the first seat in the 1 seat. So we were just going to call her nobody for the time. Unknown. Okay, hand number 2. Also, real quick, for this first part, there's 2 parts of this recording. For this very first part, like the first kind of 2 hours of their footage, we don't have the camera moving around and we don't have the bet amounts. So I'm gonna have to like kind of give you guys a little bit extra. So I apologize on no one's end, but I'm gonna do the best I can because like they do the best they can. That's all I'm saying. And I cover my favorite stream, my favorite place to play, but they are in fact doing the best they can. They don't always have someone in the production box who can input all of the bet amounts, do this, do that. So you will have to rely on me for that. Hand number 2, Angel is going to raise it up to 15 with the ace-10 offsuit. V will call with the 53 off on the button. So like I said, I'm pretty sure they're a pretty loose player. I believe, what do I have here? I have 8-7 offsuit. I'm probably going to call here because I'm getting a pretty good price. I do not, like that's another reason too why I want to make sure I go back and capture the stream that I play on, because I'm going to forget a lot of stuff too. I want to have at least a bit of the hands fresh in my memory. So I believe we're going 4 ways to a flop here. I think OMC called. No, Mike called. So we go check. V is going to bet his middle pair, which is currently the best hand. They bet decent size. I could have, I guess, floated the flop with the 2 overcards and the backdoor straight draw, but it's like whatever. I'm on auto top on mode. As you can see, I got my chips behind me, and I'm always topping up whenever I need them. I actually had to top up. I didn't include the bomb pot hand, but I think I lost like $60, $70 the first hand of the session. The bomb pot hand called like a nice big bet on the turn, but did not get there on the river. All right, V raising first in this hand. Sorry, it looks like Angel. I keep saying Angel. That's why I say like Angel Oscar, because like I don't know, like in California, like I never know if someone wants their name pronounced like American or in Spanish basically. So I apologize, Angel, because I think you prefer Angel, but I think Angel and John fold here. V is going to raise to 25. It looks like. OMC is going to put in the call, and Brant is going to put in the call with the ace-9 offsuit. OMC with the jack 4s. Like I said, OMC is not an OMC, bro. They are very splishy splashy. They're going to get in there and battle a lot. They're actually a pretty action player, low key. Definitely willing to put it in numerous ways. So we checked around. V bets. OMC is gonna call, bro. It's just the backdoor, or did he raise? Hold on, hold on. Looks like he might have raised. Honestly, like I said, he puts it in various ways. It looks like 20 to 80. Nice raise, OMC, applying the pressure with the backdoor flush draw, bro. That's solver approves right there, and that's very solid. See, like I said, he is not an OMC. You will not see most OMCs playing their Jack X that way. I am currently quick little strategy piece here to talk about, like, because I'm in the mix too, and there's like half cut and called, half like my perspective of poker as well. But you'll notice that I haven't done it many times before, but we haven't seen me on stream a lot, so maybe you haven't noticed. But I don't always wear sunglasses, and I don't always have sunglasses with me. But I've recently started utilizing sunglasses. Anytime you're in a stream room, there's gonna be a lot of lights. So it's not like the average casino floor where like the lights are really high up, and sure you can see stuff on the table, but it's like a generally like more reasonable. You know how we have the term room temperature for for temperature, like physical. It's kind of like room temperature for lighting, if you know what I mean, where it's like average lighting, whereas this is bright. This is indoors, outdoors type vibe where you're like in the sun, but you're also inside. So sunglasses are actually very helpful for whenever you are on a stream game, but I've been using them more so just to kind of like hide a little bit, hide my intentions, hide my emotions, hide my pupils, hide everything. Like, and another weird little like aside, sometimes I just kind of like close my eyes, just like take a quick little break, quick little breather. Like say you can tell this hand's gonna take like a little while, just take a nice little 90 seconds, 120 seconds, and there's so much going on. Like I'm a very energy person, like I kind of absorb a lot. I feel the room, so like after absorbing so many people's emotions, the hellos, the this, the that, you get your first couple licks in, either you win a pot, you lose a pot type deal. Once again, the lights, the cameras, the dealer talking to the producer, like the people coming in and out, like there's so much going on. Even like the average casino, like without the streaming element, like there's so many tables, so many people, so much this, so much that, so much going on that like just having a way to kind of like shut it all down and going your own, like for the JJK fans out there, just go into your own little simple domain, man. Like the whole thing is a domain, but if you can go into your simple domain inside the domain expansion of the casino, you can like really find your own little bubble, and we don't have the ability to use headphones in the stream room, so sunglasses are like your best bet. Sunglasses are your best bet. So I recommend having them as a tool if you want them. Like, of course, you don't need to wear them if you don't want to, but like it's nice having the option if you're ever the kind of person who would wear them. Let's check out this hand real quick because it looks like there was a few good hands going on. So V is in the straddle. Shout out to V for straddling with me. It's always annoying being the only person straddling. Call from Mike, I believe, and then Brant is going to raise it up to 25 with the Queen Jack suited. V is going to call out of the straddle, and C3 is Mike V. They have it as V right now, but it's Mike V. His name's Mike. We're just going to call Mike. Queen 9-3 on the flop. So both V and Brant flop pairs. Mike with the gutter and over. Brant's gonna just bet and take it down. Okay, so I want to make sure that I kind of catch all the meta, all the action. It's actually funny. I mentioned the week before I played with this gentleman V. This I'm recording right now was exactly 1 week from today, meaning tonight is also Friday, and I'm going to be playing on this stream game again. So it's almost like a bit of like a review of what happened last week, just to kind of catch myself up for tonight, so that I'm not completely in the dark. I make sure I catch all of the action that I might have missed. Looks like a raise from Angel with the Ace Queen offsuit, beautiful out of the SB, and V is going to call out of the third blind. We got an 8-8-5 flop. So Angel, you can actually see bet these flops here for straight value. So especially against, wait, V has a 10-9. For some reason I thought he had 8-9, my bad. V has a 10-9 offsuit. So you guys can just bet these for straight value. A, people are going to float with overcards. B, value for versus weak aces. And C, there's just like draws out there, like in weird, like nothing like big, but 10-9 is kind of a draw. 6-7, is that the only two card? Yeah, 6. So it would be 6-7 would be open ender. No, backdoor hearts and this and that, backdoor flush draws, he may just float with. So you can, in fact, bet here for value. You can go like half pot and it's fine. And then just kind of like reevaluate on the turn. On this exact turn, I think you can actually probably keep betting again. In a weird way, it's like half for value, half for protection, and I guess I'm going to say half a third time, but half to like not get bluffed yourself. So 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. You're betting value. Once again, you can get called by worse. You don't want to get pushed off of your hand when you check and then face a big bet. And then, of course, you are not letting them realize their equity for free. So I don't mind betting on a board like this twice, honestly. And then did the river hit a deuce? Okay, so the river hits a deuce. I still honestly think betting is fine here. You could even consider going bet, bet, check, call on this river, or bet, bet, bet small, and like ace high might actually call you 3 times. It's pretty thin. Was there a third player in the pot? Oh, there was a third player in the pot. Okay, okay, okay. I did not see that. The camera, once again, is not like changing on every player, and it didn't pick up entirely. So it looked like there was a third player in that pot. Checking is way more reasonable. Checking is way more reasonable when you're with 3 players. I was talking heads up. I was definitely talking heads up kind of BVB. I think it was either OMC or Mike that was in the mix. I could not quite tell. So I've got a 10-7 suited. We're going to raise it up to 3x. V will call out of the BB with the 98 offsuit. And we're going to go heads up to a 9-9-7 flop. Oh, yeah, his hand was a pain in the ass. I remember this hand being a pain in the ass. So 9-9-7 flush draw. He checks. I bet my bottom pair / second pair, whatever you want to call it. And I think I bet 20 after raising preflop to 15. So it's about 30 in the pot. You know, they take out the rake, but he's in the blind. So call it maybe 25 or so in the pot after the rake. I bet 20. He check raises to 60, which is like so fucking annoying because there's nothing I can do about it but call. There's really nothing I feel like I can do about it. If I fold, it's like insanely weak. If I raise, it's just like too overzealous. So like it's just a snap call, and I could already be drawing dead basically. Which like look at the situation, 1% equity. I basically am. I'm kind of like looking for like just more information, more ways to get out of this situation. You know, hoping that we just kind of can check it down from here. Like that's like the absolute ideal situation. He checks the turn, which is very interesting. I'm not really sure why. Maybe he put me on 7x, 10-10, jack-jack, and like was figuring the ace would scare me off. He's going to forego getting value versus say 10-8 and clubs to try to get value on the river versus the pairs. I think that's fine. Like his play is like completely reasonable. And then when everything bricks off on the river, the 10-8 bricks off from him, the clubs brick off for him. I think he bets what, 110? I don't think I take too long here before calling. Just because like I remember he was an aggressive player. You know, I remember he was an aggressive player, and I think I mentioned this in my last cut and call video if you guys have seen it. But if not, it's all good, and I'm going to mention the concept again here. But I don't mind going a little bit looser than you would maybe play as a standard early in the session for 2 specific things, and that was one of those things there. Light call downs and seeing what you can get away with bluff wise. So sometimes there's a situation where you're like, yeah, I could bluff here, but if I'm doing this with this hand, then I might be doing it too much. And it's not like you have to do it with every single time you have that holding, but sometimes you're just testing the waters. Are people playing tight today? Are they playing loose today? How are they playing today? So I reload back up to like 750 or so. I was trying to basically keep as you can see, here's another going to be a kind of pro tip for live play. I have a bunch of blues, aka ones, in this game of 2, 3, 5. A lot of players will only have $5 chips. And when it comes around to their 2 and their 3, they're going to force the dealer to make change for them. And I find that to be super annoying, and I try to not do that as often as possible. And yeah, all right. So anyway, second hand here, V and I are going to play 2 hands in a row, basically, and both are annoying as shit for me. But low-key, yeah, I'm just reloading the top here. So I basically topped off to 700. So V raised like $40 basically, which was like why this was annoying. He raises to 40. Oh no, my bad. Straddle pot. I straddled. All good. 4x. 40 is just 4x. I'm just annoyed that I have to play another pot with him like right now. So it's like, okay, cool. He raises 4x. I call my king jack offsuit. Completely standard. I think 3 betting is like, it's whatever. It's fine. Like I could, as we were talking about before, like test the waters a little bit. You know, I mean, this is certainly one of those hands that you want to throw into a linear range once you have acknowledged that your opponent is like a little bit more like call happy. And V is definitely the type of opponent who could probably like raise call a little bit loose here. So I would not mind if anyone wanted to 3-bet the king jack offsuit. I opted just to complete my straddle and take a flop. We have a king 10-4 flop. He's going to c-bet $40. I think this is like a fine call. Looking back on it now, I'm trying to think because I didn't really consider check raising in the moment now that I remember it. He still has king queen, he still has ace king, he still has ace ace, 10-10, 4-4, king 10, 10-4, raise the button, maybe suited. King 4, definitely in his range. So like we get value from queen jack, we get value from worse kings, because all those worse kings are also in his range as well, and we get value from clubs. So I'm just trying to think, like, is check raise here worth it? Is our hand strong enough? Against a player like V, same concept as pre-flop for the 3-bet. It actually is not the worst check raise if you want to, just because he is going to have a lot of hands in his range, worse kings, draws that can call us with here. So we're kind of towing the line. I think it's pretty close, pretty thin, but I don't really mind either way. I believe I put in a pretty quick call here, though. Once again, and here's like another big thing too, is, and I've said this several times already, I believed and perceived V to be a relatively aggressive player. So the main thing that I wanted to do in this point was get value from just their air, their bluffs, their this, their that. And once I start putting in the raise, that kind of like slows it down. That kind of flips the script and like puts the onus on me to keep putting pressure on them. And if I think they're going to be more of a bluff happy player than a call happy player, then I think check calling is actually probably leaning towards the best play. Leaning towards the best play. I check, and this is actually like a maybe like even the perfect example of results oriented. Like I got lucky, and it's honestly all true. Everything I just said is all true because he now bets the turn $80, I believe, with the 9-9. It's like, bro, that is such an aggressive bet. Like I'm not really sure what he's going for value against. I could see if the 10 was like the 8 and the 10, if the 10 and the 8 swapped, and it wasn't likely for me to have 10x in my range, or maybe he's trying to bet me off of 10x. I'm not really 100% sure, but this bet is like very, very thin for value. It's not really a bluff because like he'd have to bomb the river for 10x to fold, you know? So I'm really curious like what he would do on the river on the times when he doesn't river a set. I'm very curious what he does on the times when he doesn't river a set, because I was planning on just check calling down, basically, because once again, I think he's an aggressive player. And this honestly kind of sucks here too, man, because his sizing, bro. It's like I knew I wasn't going to fold at any point, but like his sizing was just so mid to me, because like honestly, I want him to go bigger, bro. Really was hoping he would go like 250, 300, like a little bit more, because I feel like that's going to polarize his range more and make it just more bluff happy. This looked like value. In the moment, it felt like value. It looked like value, but I still couldn't fold given my plan going into the situation. So yeah, I call again. I lose again. And that is GG for me again. Reload. Third or fourth reload. And we are about 20 minutes into the stream. About 20 minutes into the stream. So not my favorite start of the night, but it does turn around. I'll put it that way. So we can wait for that. Spoiler, we do get some positive variance this session, so it's not just me getting my ass whooped this whole day. But I felt like even though I lost those two hands, like I don't really feel like I played them bad per se. I could have maybe raised the flop on the king jack. I could have maybe folded the flop on the 10-7. I don't know, man. That seems pretty light. Maybe fold the river on the 10-7. I don't know. I really don't mind any of it, low key. It also says too, like, you're not just gonna bluff me, you know, like, so I can give his bets in the future more credit, actually, just because like I've now shown that I'm willing to call down twice. So they should, in theory, be less willing to bluff me. All right, Angel is going to raise it up with the Jack-9 suited. Nice raise from first position, my friend. Very nice raise. You're going to get one call, it looks like, from Brant, Ace-10 offsuit out of the BB. Check on the 6-6 king flop. I actually like betting this board, Angel, mainly because you have more king X in your range than Brant does. So you want to bet here just to get them off of, like, literally their hand, like, get them off of their hand, and you can represent the king way better than they can. So it's a fine spot to bet once. You can then bet the turn if it's a queen. You can bet the turn if it's an ace as well for your bluffs. And then when the turn's a jack, you get a little bit of equity. When the turn's a 10, you get a little bit of equity. So you can now gonna bet for value. That's fine. That's cool. I'll take it. I don't mind. If you wanted to bet for value here, if you want to check back, I actually don't even really mind. Because it's kind of like hard to get value from anything. Hearts probably would have bet into you on the turn. Diamonds might have considered betting into you on the turn. So he probably has like ace high, deuce, 3-3, 4-4, 5-5, like those types of hands. And those are probably not going to call two barrels. So you can bet once on the river and like have that be your one bet. Because when a hand is not going to call two barrels, you don't want to threaten a second bet. And when you bet the turn, you're threatening a river bet when you could just like take that one street on the river. We get a chop. He's going to straddle. It's going to limp around. Angel's going to raise. Angel's going to call with the ace jack offsuit. All right, so Angel, you got to raise there for sure. That's a good spot to make it like 60, 65, 70. Just take down some of the dead money. Take out some of these hands that are in there. Like, don't let me limp the button like that. Like, whenever I limp the button, I probably have something mediocre, else I would have raised myself. It's just when players like me limp the button here, it's because we have hands that are good enough to play a pot, but like we're not really looking to play a big hand, unless of course, we expect V, very aggressive player, to be aggressive out of the straddle. Now that's like a completely different kind of, or not completely different, but it's a completely unique situation. Whereas some people simply are aggressive out of the straddle due to the fact that they straddled, and some people just aren't. And even an aggressive player like V may not be just raw aggressive because they straddled. So it is good to kind of like feel out the waters and see how people are playing. But if you do think they're one of these people who just raises out of the straddle every single time, then absolutely slow playing a hand like ace jack before the flop is okay, because then you can do a couple things. You can either call and then plan to call them down lightly. You can call, you can check jam a lot of flops. You can just call at first, but then when they raise pre, you can come back over the top and 4-bet, back raise them all in. So there's a lot of options, and I like that once you have the read. But if you don't have that read yet, I mean, maybe you do because we both played with this guy before. If you don't have that read, then it's better to just raise yourself for sure. All right, so checks to me, I believe, and I bet out with the middle pair. Bet out like a little. Oh, okay. So here's what it was seat 1 didn't check. Everyone checked, but seat 1, I didn't see that she didn't check. What's his name? Angel calls. We go heads up to a turn 9. He's gonna lead. Nice lead. I think I don't pay him off here. I don't remember paying him off, so I definitely folded there. Nice hand, Angel. I actually like his lead a lot, low key. His lead's actually very good because that's a spot where I check back a lot. I think he probably sensed that in some way, shape, or form. Maybe he wouldn't be able to. You can tell me, Angel. Maybe you wouldn't be able to necessarily put it into words exactly why you bet. Because like you didn't bet the flop, but you bet the turn. So, and I did bet the flop. So like you were okay to steal the betting lead, but you just didn't do it. You did it like one street later. And I would say the main reason to do it is because he just sensed the check back was probably coming. Like and it was. It absolutely was. I was going to take my free card, and I was going to try to just get the showdown. All right, we've got Brian in the box, and I'm going to open up King 10 offsuit 3x early-ish position. Brant will call with the A7 offsuit. It's going to fold around. We're going to go heads up to the flop. Queen 9-4. I flop a gutter and an over. I think I c-bet and just take it down here, honestly, if I remember correctly. It just doesn't connect very well for Brant. I have that connects better for me than it does for him. So Oscar is going to sit in, and we are now going to be effectively full table once V gets back. All right, next hand. Looks like we've got a min raise from Brant with the King 9 suited, a delayed straddle. I'm going to call with the 74 offsuit. Looks like a couple other players called. Mike is in there with the Queen Deuce offsuit. I actually have, let's see. Oh, sorry. Do I lead out? I think I lead out here. What's the flop? Flop is 6-4-3, and I have the 4, and I just lead out for, looks like about 25 or so into about a pot of about 60-ish. And the main reason why I do this is because this is just kind of like my board. Like I connect with this probably better than other players. So I just figured let's take a shot at it. Let's just take a shot at it. Like bet when you hit type play. And like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when everyone misses, and like it's just hard to hit with a 6-high board, It really is. And we have outs. We have the 4, we have the 7, we have the 5. So there's a lot of ways that we can improve when we are called by like over pairs or this or that. Or like sometimes even over cards just float you there and it's like an actual value bet. So nice hand by me. Nice hand by me. Don't be afraid just to bet when you hit, low key. I've learned a lot from bad players, and bad players like they do that. Like they call it 7 high before the flop, like, and then they bet when they hit a pair of 4s. They just win sometimes. I'm like, oh shit, that's like not terrible. Like if it works when it's your board, it works when it's your board. It's like, yeah, like I've only really been donking for like half a year now. It's usually been like I've checked to the better, so I've checked to the aggressor for like 2 decades, bro. So it definitely took me a long time to implement things like that in my game. It's like he's gonna take down a small one. I was a little tilted this hand. Yeah, I would have had a boat if I had played it, and it was just like another one of those speculative hands where if I had just kind of called V loosely pre-flop, then I would have hit a nice hand after the flop. But fortunately for me, no one else had anything, and I was able to at least I didn't lose out on that much money. It's not like it was a huge pot. All right, going 3 or 4 ways here. 4 ways. Brent is going to bet out with his gut shot. He hits the gut shot on the turn. Oscar has King 10, so top pair with the gutter. He's going to lead out on the turn. Brent will probably raise here, if I remember correctly. He was a pretty aggressive player, at least like when he had a decent hand. He was aggressive enough when he had a decent hand. So he looks like we go bet from 40 raise to 100 or so, something in that range. And I'm just going to skip forward here because I'm pretty sure Oscar calls. And Queen on the river, probably going to go check, bet, decide. He checks. Brant's going to bet 150. Oscar is going to fold. Oscar looked me up pretty light the other day, actually. That'll be on a future video. I ran a triple barrel, and he said, I don't believe you, bro. And it was my board, too. He could look me up with 4th pair. This hand is... Okay, this hand's actually just like for... what do you call it? This is good for data for later, and I think that this helps me in a situation that'll come up in like an hour or so, maybe. But I think V just opens here to 20, and I get JJ, and I make it 120, and just the simple fact that we 3-bet them once is nice, because then the next time we 3-bet them, we do get action, and we have a better hand. But that's like a super standard hand there. I think 6x is actually like pretty good against a player like him. I think that he's going to call a lot. So might as well just like take advantage of a relatively inelastic range. When he folds, he's going to fold. When he calls, he's going to call. So this hand, Mike raises to like 30. Yeah, I have he has king queen offsuit. I have ace queen offsuit. I flat on the button. It's kind of, I bet Mike and I have mutual feelings right now. Mike, if you see this, you can let me know. But like when he raises to 30, I'm probably the last player he wants to call on the button. And he's the last player that I want to open the cutoff to 30. So like we're both like, bro, why you gotta be in this spot? I guarantee we're both feeling that. So we go in 3 ways, it looks like ace 10, 4 flush draw, and it checks to me. I just bet out, is it? Yeah, I just bet out, and I think it just goes fold fold. I actually show a lot of my hands, especially when they're good hands. I like showing my good hands more. I never show a bluff. If I have a bluff, I never show a bluff, but I will show a good hand just so that I can have the benefit of getting credit in the future, you know? I prefer to go that route. Everyone has their own stylistic choices. Sometimes people will bluff and then tighten up. I prefer to go in tight and then try to loosen up over time. That's like my way preferred, just to feel people out a little bit better and not expose myself to such a crazy, crazy environment potentially. All right, so we had a raise from unknown. Brant calls and V squeezes with the ace 9 offsuit. Looks like about 140. Goes from sorry, OMC raise. My bad. OMC raise with 7-4 suited. He flat. See, this is what I'm saying. OMC is not an OMC. He raised to 20 with a 7-4 suited. Brant calls. V squeezes, and OMC with the 74 suited is like, yeah, I'm in. I am definitely in. So V goes for a check on the flop, and this is actually a bit of a wild hand. I remember I was watching this briefly. V checks, and OMC is going to go for a pretty decent bet. I think 150. Bets 150. He's got his stacks in 30 right now, so whenever he pulls one of those out, it's going to be a 150 bet. V is going to check call with the ace high. Check call with the ace high on the queen jack 9 board. Queen jack 10 board. His 9 effectively doesn't play. I guess it does play because like the 8 would be a straight 2. So I guess he has like an open ender in this regard too. So I guess it's like not the most ridiculous call. That's fair. That's fair. Because like the ace plays for the top card, the 9 plays for the 8. But when the turn deuce goes check. So not that ridiculous of a call on the flop. Turn deuce goes check, but the river 6 brick V jams. And it's like, what an aggressive play. What an aggressive play. If I was wrong in that he was not the same person that we played with last week, then I lucked into reading that he was an aggressive player, because we've seen nothing but pure aggression from V so far. Very, very nice hand from them. Took it down with ace high. Even though it was the best hand, they prevented Mike from bluffing them on the river. And I mentioned this once before, like when I was saying like 1/3 reason for betting before, when I thought it was just a heads up pot when Angel had the ace queen. Sometimes betting to not get bluffed is part of the equity that you are going to receive by making your bet. Okay, so we've got a straddle from OMC. I'm gonna flat with the 44. Oscar is gonna come along with the ace king suited. And I think right here what happens is OMC, like it's hard to see his stack right now, but if we kind of base off the previous hand, I think he's only got like $500 right here, and he makes it like 60. So I just didn't feel like I was getting the proper odds to set mine necessarily. I know we're going to go multi-way. This might have been a mistake, but I do actually fold here. I just didn't see the full, like we'd have to stack like 2 people to make it worth it in the long run, you know? Like Oscar doesn't have enough. Brant has like an okay amount, I guess, but he didn't give me the vibes of like someone who's just going to like stack off to me easily. So we'd have to basically stack like OMC, Oscar, and get some of Brant's money to make calling here worth it, I think. Because like you really do need like the 20-1, bro. People think, oh my God, it's only like, 12% to hit. Oh, shoot. Fell off my stool, bro. You only need 20. You only need a like 8-1 or whatever, and it's like, yeah, to hit, bro. But like you're gonna get set over setted. You're gonna get like set. They're gonna hit a flush, hit a straight, whatever. You're just not gonna get action. Consider that you're not gonna get action a lot of the time. So you need to go off that really classic 20-1 still. Sorry for almost sustaining an injury while recording a stream or recording a VOD of a stream. But we go heads up, OMC and Oscar, and OMC's gonna bet. Oscar has the top pair, top kicker. He jams. OMC's gonna fold, is what it is. Now, like that's a spot too where I really, really, really just like 10 out of 10 do not like that play. Oscar, if you watch this stream or this video, know for a fact, bro, that OMC is like a little aggressive, and even if he's not, there's no reason to jam there, bro. There's really not, because let's look at SPR. We've got about 200-ish or so left in our stack, maybe like 290, I should say. And the pot has already gotten like decent size. SPR is about 2, about 2. So it just takes like one more bet to get all in on the turn or the river. And you can at the very least at that point represent like missed 6-8, missed 6-4, just random whatever. And if they have air and they want to keep barreling, you let them keep barreling. So don't shut down your opponent's bluffs. and you've just got this locked up, bro. There's no flush draw out there. You've got the top pair, top kicker. Like, you just go with it. Just go with it in terms of like, don't jam. Like, just let them jam it off. Like, kind of like bet it off. If they check the turn, then you can consider a small bet. This kind of like, there's so many things you can do. So like small bet turn jam river, or like check back turn jam river. But I wouldn't jam here against the C bet. It like is kind of your worst option. So nice guy, but that was a like last option play you'd want to make there. Like, it was your worst choice for sure. All right, we've got an unstraddled hand. I've got ace 4 offsuit. I don't think I raise here. I could have, I guess, kind of, just because the oh wait, no, never mind. There's 1, 2, 3 players behind me. I didn't see that the button was on John. I thought the button was on V. So even then, yeah, it's like, it's fine. It's easy to, if the button was on Brant, then I could raise there, but that's like kind of my cutoff. So John is going to raise with the king 5 suited on the button. V is going to call with the 10-8 suited out of the SB. Unknown will call with the king jack offsuit and hit a queen jack. I meant to say queen jack, and they will hit bottom 2 pair on an ace queen jack board. Check over to John, who is going to c-bet pretty big. He bets 150. I think there are 4 ways here. Are they 4 ways? Did OMC also call it the 98 suited? Of course he would, bro. No way he's folding that. So OMC called. So they went 4 ways, and John still bet that dude. He is an aggressive player. John's very interesting. He is like the epitome of tight but aggressive. He doesn't play a lot of hands, but when he plays them, he plays them. So don't expect to like push him around when you're in a pot with him. It's just, he is going to circumvent a lot of hands. Like, he's just going to like fold himself out of a lot of mediocre situations that he's not even going to let himself get into. But when he gets in there, he definitely gets in there. So he c-bets about 150, and Unknown just like straight call. She's like, yep, I'm in. Now that's a really interesting call, because I guess she's like, I don't know what she's calling for really here, man. I would probably, are we raising here? Actually, another thing about, are we raising here? Bottom 2 pair, king 10 out there, ace queen, ace ace, ace jack. Actually, she might have the right idea here. My initial reaction was to raise. I don't know her exact stack size. I think she got about 500 or so. Raising gets you value from ace king, ace 10, maybe king queen. You bet pretty big. So like, if he's betting that with king queen, he's probably not folding it. There's a lot of hands that we're beating, or that we're losing to, I should say. And we have talked about, now she doesn't know, I don't know if she knows, but that John is a relatively aggressive player. I don't know if he's going to double barrel here. When she check calls the flop, that's like the big thing too. Like, I don't know if she's going to double barrel, or if he's going to double barrel on the turn. So like, say it's like a brick turn, like deuce 3, 4, whatever, and she checks, is he going to bet again? If yes, check calling is good. If no, you're giving him a free card for no reason. You could just raise right now. So it's actually pretty tight, pretty close. I can understand why she went for the call, but I do think there's a lot of merit to raising. And there's a lot of merit to raising against like the ace king, king queen, ace 10, worse aces, just random ace X. That's also an option. People can be very aggressive. So I think raise is probably the play, especially if she's got like that 500-ish stack that I'm, thinking that she has. But let's take a turn. This turn can just get so dicey so quickly. Brick on the turn. She bets 150. Wow. Interesting line, bro. Super interesting line, because she makes ace X like pay you the fuck off right here. Very interesting line, bro. I actually really like this. I actually really like this by her. So like, what she's effectively doing is kind of just gambling that the turn is not going to bring in like an action killing card, a king, a 10, a 9. I mean, 9's not as bad, but you know what I'm saying? The king and 10 are terrible. An ace, obviously terrible for her hand, gets counterfeited. So when she doesn't hit those cards and she leads out now, she really is able to extract a lot from an ace X type hand. So really not a bad play. And she bets the same thing that was bet on the flop. So about 300 on the top. She's betting a 25% pot. I could go a little bit bigger. But I think this bet's going to take it down in this exact situation. I do not think John's going to call here. But not a bad line from Unknown. Not a bad line from our unknown friend. All right, I will straddle here. Pick up a nice little jack 3 offsuit for my efforts. Fold. I think. Oh, I remember that this hand is stupid. Mike just calls and we check it down, literally. Like nothing else happens. I think my jack high loses to his queen high or something. And that is that. All right, next hand. I'm in the third blind with the king 4 suited. It's going to fold around to V with the 10-5 suited. And he makes it 30. I think I actually just fold here. I think I just let this one go. 30 is a pretty big open when we're not in the straddle. When we're just in the 6x open, way different than a 4x open from before. So I think that is a little bit safer. Crazy flop here. So what do we go? I think we went 3 ways if I saw correctly. Did Oscar call? Yeah, Oscar called. and then OMC called. And the flop is going to hit crazy for V. It's got a 10-4-7 with their flush draw. Oscar has a 10 top pair with a 9 kicker. And where's OMC? OMC has deuce deuce, misses the flop. So it looks like he's going to go. Is Oscar going to lead, or is he going to? No. Oh, I'm sorry. What just happened? Did OMC bet? No, check. Got it. Okay, check to V, who bet 60. And does OMC raise to 160? There's no way. Okay, no. OMC calls with deuce deuce, which is crazy if this has been picked up accurately. And then Oscar raises to 160 with the 10-9. The best hand. How does he know he has the best hand right here, bro? How do you know you have the best hand? That's such a wild raise with the no kick, like the mid kicker 10. Wow, and V with the jam on him. V with the jam. What an aggressive play. Like good, solid, aggressive. I actually like it a lot. Now what types of hands do we think Oscar is coming along here with? Good 10s probably, maybe 2 pair like 10-7, 7-4. Sets obviously 4-4, 7-7, 10-10 is less likely, but you know, maybe a randomly slow played overpair. Sometimes people play Jack and Queen weird. Their aces and kings kind of weird. They wait for like a low board and they go all in on that. I don't know. Not a lot of bluffs though. I don't think there's a lot of raw bluffs. I actually don't remember what Oscar does here, so let's see. Does he call him down? He calls him down and they run it twice. No hit on the first one, and I think V's gonna hit on the second one. Oh, he hits 2 pair on this. Yeah, he hits 2 pair. Wow. Check, raise, call a 3-bet with 10-9 pair of 10s on that board is very aggressive, very loose, and very lucky that for Oscar that V had the type of hand that they did. Wow. Crazy stuff. Right. Looks like Mike has an ace jack suited here. John with the jack is going to open it up. Mike's going to flat. Oscar's going to call with the ace 9 offsuit, and we're going to go 3 ways to a jack 6 ace flop. Oh, sorry, Mike. I don't even remember this hand, but you're getting sacked this one, right? Oh my god, those hand that comes in to say hello. Always so pleasant. What just happened on this hand? John didn't bet, right? Did Mike lead out? I can't even see where the button is, bro, sometimes. Well, it's like, yeah, I think Mike led out. Lead, jam, call. Oh, no, we're on the turn now. We're on the turn. Did the flop go check? Did Hannah distract everybody? And the flop went check? I think that's what happened. I think the flop checked through. And Mike leads out on the turn now, completely standing. And, you know, it also makes sense entirely for John to check back that flop when you have it completely locked up. So everything here tracks, actually. Like, this is all making complete sense. Wow, what a shit situation for Mike, bro. When you bet this turn and then get raised, because it feels like, you know what it feels like, bro? Not jack, feels like 10-10. That's what it feels like. It's like, god damn, dude probably has 10-10. Wow, what a situation for John. Nice hand to you, my friend. Sorry to see it happen to Mike, who I like a lot. Mike and I feel like are more cordial to one another than myself and maybe the average player who comes through these streams. So you never want to see your buddies lose a pot. That's a huge cooler right there, bro. I don't think I was paying close enough attention at the time, but that was massive cooler. Wow. Nice hand to John, though. I like John, too. I like pretty much everyone that we play with, honestly. There's not like a single person I've met so far who I'm like, you know, screw this person. All right. I'm in the SB with a little nada. V is going to open it up with 87 suited from early-ish position. Shout out to Andrew coming in here with the reload for Mike. Like I mentioned, bro, the Lucky Lady staff is the best, the absolute best. Gonna take it down. All right, V's gonna raise again from early position now with King 9 suited. Folds to, or sorry, doesn't fold anybody because Unknown's gonna call with 10-9 suited. Looks like Mike's gonna come along with 3-3. Oscar's gonna come along with Jack 7 suited. We're gonna go 4 ways to a King 7 flop, and V had raised flopped the trip kings and did not opt to c-bet, which is actually pretty good, pretty smart on their part, because anytime someone has a better king, they're going to limit their losses. Anytime someone is there in a way ahead, way behind from the way ahead perspective, they let people catch up, just kind of like how John did in the previous hand. Board is super dry. There's not a lot to get value from King 7. Like, where's the draws? You know, King 7 is not like 9-9-10, you know, where there's like actual draws mixed in within the pair and the unpaired card. So I actually love both these slow plays that we've seen in the last couple of hands. Now check, Oscar called on the turn with his 7, obviously. And then, what's his name? V's going to bet on the river, and I think Oscar's going to probably look him actually, Oscar made some pretty decent folds already. That's why I was so mad when he called me the other day. Not mad, but it's like, really? What did I do to make you think I was bluffing here? Or like, just confused, I guess. Like, I hate to admit it, because it's like, I should be an experienced poker player, yada yada, all that stuff. But like, sometimes shit just throws me, bro. And it's like, I'm like, what did I do to make you call me down with 4th pair on a king high board when I triple barrel? And just is what it is. But like, so with that being said, I have no idea if he's going to call or fold right here. I have no idea if he's going to call or fold. V's a pretty aggressive player, and he can sense this as well. So it's like he looks it up. He looks it up. At least you're wrong sometimes, bro. At least he's wrong sometimes. Nice hand by V. Very nice hand by V. All right, V puts on the straddle. Love it. Fold. Over to me. I got Jack 8 offsuit. We're going to raise it up to 30. Cool. I like it. Evaluating my own play in a post production. All right, we are going 3 ways to a flop. Jack 4-5, good for me. Oscar has a middle pair. He's gonna probably float me once here. V called out of the BB/straddle with the Queen 7 offsuit. They're probably gonna fold. Would I bet 45? Oscar looks me up once. I think I'd probably bet. I think if I remember correctly, we're gonna go double barrel on this turn. No, I checked this turn. Interesting. That's fair. That's fair. I got like no kicker on my jack. I just figured, I guess the king turn too. Like I just thought it probably would have been a low card and I just bet twice. But check is probably going to be the most likely outcome here. If I recall, ace on the river, I check again. Really, Oscar puts out a big bet here. This is going to probably work on me. Oh, he hits a flush. He hits a flush. My bad. Even if it wasn't a flush, bro, and he bets like this, I'm probably just folding, low-key. I'm probably just folding. Do I look him up? I don't look him up. I look him up? Why did I look him up? 6-7 missed? That's it. 6-7 missed and like random cards missed. Pretty bad look up. It's a pretty bad look up. I don't like this play. I'm evaluating myself in post. Don't do this, bro. I'm trying to think, like, what did he do that made me look him up here? Because the only thing that really misses is just 6-7 and like, 6-8, like those random kind of hands. I guess like I thought his value bets would be also too, because like sometimes people bet randomly spastically here with like a 5, like just without the flush. So I guess I just didn't think that he would bet here with just like a king or a jack. That's okay. We're getting there now. Hold on a second. I'm talking myself back into the call. If he's not going to bet the river here with a king or a jack, now my kicker doesn't play. And now I'm protecting myself versus spaz bets, 5x, 4x. Ooh, deuce 3 gets there as well. I didn't really even see that in real time. I'm now, ace 4, ace 5, ace X will probably bet this. Yeah, I'm actually probably leaning back towards fold. I do understand though and see like probably some of the reasons why I called, but I don't like it. In the end, I probably should have just folded here. It does in the future though, as I mentioned once before, like it gives a less incentive to bet against me in the future when you have nothing if I just keep calling. And I've done nothing but call down this session. So there's that. Yeah, I don't love that hand necessarily. If I could take back that river check call, I would make it a check fold, I think. All right, V raises out of the blinds versus looks like was it a straddle hand? Might have been a straddle hand by OMC, because I think I saw a $10 call from Oscar, but he raises with the queen jack. Everyone checks through. We have a 3-way pot, I think. Oh, no, sorry. It's just heads up with Oscar and V. And Oscar's going to call the turn with his king high and open-ended straight draw. And we are going to go to the river. Deuce of hearts. Check from V. Probably could have gotten it through, honestly, given the hand situation. It's funny. Oscar's going to bet on the river with the best hand because, you never know. So this is like one of those literally you never know situations. Even though they had the best hand, it's like quite all right. You definitely aren't faulting someone for betting in a situation like that because they probably don't have a lot of showdown value. All right, folds to me. I got an ace 9 off. I probably raise here. Ace 9 seems like raisable. Okay, I don't. Looking at this table composition, like the 3 players behind me that are in position to me, between Oscar, Grant, and Angel, like I can probably raise ace 9 offsuit there just because like they're not going to apply enough pressure to me. That's going to make raising a hand like that difficult. So it's another hand that I would like to take back. They're going to play a small one because I didn't raise. No one really hits anything, and we're just going to move on. I straddle. Oscar's first act. And he picks up an ace queen offsuit. What does he raise to? Or does he just call? Does he just call? Bro, wild, man. You got to raise, Oscar. Looks like OMC will do the raising for him with 8-6 suited. I have the 72 off. Cannot call. We're not playing 7 deuce game today. Public game today. Ace 4 deuce. Oscar with the queen of clubs is going to be just like a monster hand here. Very, very nice. Top pair. Good kicker back. With the front door flush draw. All right. Folds to V, who's going to raise to the raise with the ace 9 off. Looks like 3x. Is this a straddle hand? Did Oscar straddle? I can't even tell. No, actually they might have. I opt to not call it the king 9 offsuit. It's a little tight, little fine, little whatever. It's mid. I could go either way. I could go call. I could go fold. Oscar behind me is probably not going to apply too much pressure, and V is a pretty aggressive player. This hand gets kind of big. So V raises to $20, and we are in a very similar position to where we were last time when we 3-bet them. I know we were out of the blinds, and we go for the same size of 120. They raise to 20. We raise to 120. And Oscar actually cold calls with his ace jack offsuit right here. Pretty loose cold call when I've only put out 1 3-bet before, but Oscar wants to gamble. And V with the 10-9 offsuit is not going to fold a second time around. We have King Clubs, King of Diamonds. We get a pretty decent flop, pretty dry, but King Jack 8 with a flush draw. I opt for about a 1/3 pot C-bet. We made it 120 before the flop. There's about 360 out there. We go 150, plus a couple of the blinds and this and that. So we go about actually a little bit bigger than 1/3, maybe about 40%. We go about B40. Oscar calls with his middle pair, and V jams it in. V jams it in. Now we're going 2x speed. And I don't like snap call because I do want to try and induce an overcall from Oscar, but I do put in the call pretty quickly. And I'm just going to skip forward because Oscar, Mike said good luck. That's why I tapped the table there. Oscar does actually tank a little bit here, but to my absolute delight, he tank calls. V says, what do you want to do? I say, Oscar, what do you want to do? They both say, we don't care. I say, one time. They both say, we don't care. I then say, one time. And we are lucky enough to where the board runs out, where Queen 10 gets there. I was very worried about Queen 10, because maybe Queen 10 with a club, Queen 10 of clubs, but Queen 10 gets there. And we hold. We scoop about a 2K-ish pot. A little bit less, but about a 2K-ish pot. I'm going to skip forward because it takes quite a while for the accounting. And I've got a nice big... when you get to do that, man, ain't no better feeling, man. And bring them to me, baby. Ain't no better feeling when you get to hug the money that you just won. So this right here, that right there is what dreams are made of, everybody. That's why you play what you play. I forget what I give Brian. I think I gave him 10 or 15. And then do bomb pot, which is good because we'll skip over those and give me time to move this stuff around. I realized that it'd be easier just to stack on the other side and kind of move it over. But yeah, I'm gonna fumble with these chips for a while. I should have gotten a color up. So it's kind of silly / funny to even note. I don't really get a lot of big pots like that very often, especially for some reason, Lucky Lady, I just haven't really run super great, or maybe I haven't played very great, or whatever you want to call it. But this has been one of my harder casinos, honestly, to play at. So I haven't had a lot of chips in this casino very often. So I'm not very familiar with calling for a chip up. I was like, should I call for a chip up? Because if I lose a big pot, then it's I'm not going to need it anymore. So whatever. So I just decided to not, but I definitely probably should have called for a chip up. That's my my post game advice for myself right now. Are we got a four cards here? Yeah, 4 cards here. Pot. All right, skip through. All right, we have the next hold'em hands are going. Looks like V is going to raise to 25 with the 75 suited, and we get 1 call from Oscar with the Queen 8 offsuit, and Brant has the Ace King offsuit here. Let's see how they treat it. They're going to go up to 110, and V is not in a folding mood. They make it. They make the call, and Oscar is not in a folding mood. They make the call with the Queen 8 offsuit. So Brent is in pretty good shape here, honestly. Jack 5 flop is not good for anybody except for V, actually. I'm sorry. They flop bottom pair. They're probably going to bet out here just to protect themselves versus overcards. Betting $50 in this flop is super weird. That's only 1/6 pot, maybe even a little bit less. So you're going to want to protect for a little bit more, maybe about 120 here when you do bet, because you're not getting them to fold the cards that you're trying to, Brent's not going to make a mistake here when he calls. So you're going to want to charge a little bigger. Turn is a 9 of hearts. If it goes check, then you can certainly bet again here and probably take it down. Bets 150. This should end the hand, if I had to guess. Brant calls. Speculative, bro. I know V's an aggressive player, but they did just lose a big pot. So unless you think they're super tilted, interesting. I think that's very loose and probably too loose in the end. River. Brant jams. Interesting. Wow. I did not know you had that in you, sir. Check, call, flop. Check, call, turn. Jam river when the spades get there. That shit is ballsy, bro. And I'm glad that you had it in you, because that's going to work. There's no way V's calling that. He's a smart player. I think, and then V gets up, I think takes a little breather after this hand, just lost a couple hands in a row. Wow. Did not think Brant had that when this hand went down. Very nice hand, sir. If you see this ever, very nice hand to you. That was really, really good, honestly. Oscar with the reload, and we are all back in the mix. Limp. I'll limp 2 with the 10-9 offsuit. Oscar's going to raise with, we lost his hand. Okay, so Oscar with the mystery hand. Brant is going to call. Angel's going to call. Brant's got the king-queen suited. Angel's got the 6-6. Mike has a pair of queens. Did he limp in with a pair of queens? He limped in with a pair of queens. I didn't even see that, bro. I only lose $5 out of this, luckily for me. Wow. Oscar's gonna call with the mystery hand. Tricky play, Mike. Very nice. Very, very nice. And Brant is like contemplating. Brant, let's go the king queen suited. Interesting, interesting. Potentially, see, like sometimes I do this as well. Like you just want a big pot. You kind of like want to get your head situated. You don't want to necessarily like just throw it all right back in the mix there, like and potentially be on a winner's tilt. You want to like give yourself a break for like just a moment. So that's like a little bit of a conservative fold there, but it does kind of make sense. He is out of position as well, and going call is kind of rough, especially against Mike's check re-raising or Mike's limp re-raising range is probably pretty strong. And if Brent recognizes that, then it's going to be an even taller order. So Mike jams on the ace high board. Because he doesn't get snap called by Oscar, I think he is good here. He gets tank called? He looks like he wants to call. Nope, Oscar folds. Nice hand to Mike. Always scary when the ace hits, but pretty reasonable to just kind of like go with it. I don't necessarily mind check calling either, you know, because once again, like the only card that you really care about hitting on the turn is the king. I'm going to go raise from Oscar with 5-4. John's going to call the king queen suited, and OMC is going to come along with the 66 ace 7-4 flush draw flop. Looks like OMC actually has the best hand here. Oscar connected a little bit. Really, Oscar has the best hand here in terms of like playability, because it's going to hit like something that can fill up a little bit more often. Like you can hit like the 4, you can hit the 5, you can hit the backdoor straight, and OMC can only hit like the set or the backdoor straight. So even though the hand like outranks, it still feels a little better to have the 5 card out. So it went bet small, call, and then John actually puts in a pretty loose raise on the turn with the king queen. Wow, very nice play, John. They are aggressive, bro. They didn't read anyone for an ace, and they figured my queen is good, and I'm going to charge for draws now. Very, very nice raise / play by John. Much, much looser than I would have ever guessed, honestly, for a value raise. All right, folds around to chop. V is back in, but not for long. I actually think they pack it up not too much longer after this. I'm not sure if maybe the swings are getting to them, because they were doing good in the beginning. Swung up, then swung down, and they just got to swing back up, man. They're the kind of player who can easily make a comeback. Very high variance player. So yes, of course, they could easily lose more as well. But Oscar on the turn with the queen jack. OMC has the middle pair. We're going to go check. Is OMC going to bet the river? No, he's just going to try and get the showdown. They are going to go to showdown. Oscar's going to win. All right. V is back in. He has a king jacks. Oh, this hand's... Oh. Does he play this hand? I don't actually even know. He does leave very shortly after this hand, but I pick up a queen. I kind of forgot about this hand. I pick up a queen this hand. I think V raises and I 3-bet him, and then I think he leaves like not too long after. Or you know what it is? I 3-bet him here. I think he folds. Wait. OMC 3-bet? Do I cold call or what do I do here? I might cold call to let V in and not like blast him out of the hand. Is that what happens? It goes 20-60? Yeah. That's why I don't remember this hand, because I didn't 3-bet. I cold called the 3-bet. Is it to... Yes, looks like 60. I'm like kind of hitting the chips out. Perfect. Thank you, former me, for helping me with these bet amounts. Ace high board. I don't think I win this hand. I don't think I remember winning this hand. So it goes check on the flop. Let's see what happens. I actually forget this hand entirely. OMC checks. It goes check again. Am I going to fold to a single bet on the river? I don't think so. So I probably do win this hand. OMC bets out 80. I fold to that shit. Fuck me, bro. Bad. That's a shit fold, bro. That's a terrible fold. Just because like they check twice. Why am I folding this river? I don't know. Maybe like also this is like this is only the second time that I've played with OMC. It makes like they 3-bet pre though. They 3-bet pre. So yeah, but like they're not gonna check ace king, ace jack, ace queen. I block, but still. I'm just trying to think of like my logic. Cause like right now, I'm like, of course I call them down because I know that they're a relatively aggressive player. Like they can bet hands like that, and I don't even know. We've talked about this many times before. I don't even know if they are doing it for value or not. You know, I have king again here. I do not remember getting king twice. This is a week ago too. But yeah, and I have played with OMC like a fair bit since this day, and I once again would not fold to them now, but that's a bad fold. In real time, I guess like I just didn't quite know. But even then though, like check on the flop and on the turn, gotta look them up on the river there. But hey, I'm a different player today than I was then. Right now it's an obvious call, then it was just like conservative fold. So that's that's why I never look. I never look in a chop. There you go. And that's why I never look, y'all. Because looking at it now, I'm like, I don't care. You know, but in real time, it's like, bruh. Bruh. But yeah, I never look. When it's a potential chop situation, I wait until it's been defined. No, we're not going to chop for me to actually look. Because if it's a chop at all, then why would I want to see those cards? Why would I want to see 2 kings right there? So I was like, that's why I don't remember getting kings again, because I never look. All right, we've got Unknown is going to raise early-ish position with the Ace King. OMC is going to flat with the JJ. Brant's going to. Oh no, sorry, they have his hand on screen, but he does fold. So OMC is going to bet the Queen 9 Deuce board, and I'm sorry, nobody's going to bet the Queen 9 Deuce board. And OMC is going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if he. Oh my bad, I kind of reversed the hands mentally. I'm surprised to see Unknown Lady here betting twice. This is a very, very, very bad board to bet twice on as a bluff. So if you're betting for value, okay. This might be one of those hands, kind of like OMC last hand with the King 6. Heard this hand, like, are y'all betting for value or are you bluffing? Like, are y'all betting for value or are you bluffing? She bets the river pretty sizable, and OMC's going to look her up, and she does river the AK. Very weird hand, very weird play. But yeah, like if you ask OMC from that last hand where he bets the 6 and I fold queens like an idiot, I genuinely do not know if he was bluffing or value betting there, which is like part of the thing that kind of throws me too. Because when people bet with such confidence, I'm like, okay, you seem like you like the situation. So, and then you call them and then they're like, yep, third pair, boom. And it's like, okay, I have a slightly better hand. But yeah, that's like been like one of the big themes for me for No Limit for like the last like couple of months is just trying to make sense of how random and how spastic people are. And that like really is like a very, very big part of it is when people think that they're value betting when they're really not, like right there, I don't think that they were betting trying to get me to fold queen, queen, they probably didn't put queen, queen in my range. They probably weren't even thinking about my range, honestly, but that was probably closer to a value bet than a bluff, if I had to guess. All right, we've got an all-in from Oscar, and OMC's got the J5. Wow, bro. Y'all are getting it in loose here. And did he river the... Yeah, that's right. I remember he rivered the backdoor diamonds. He rivered the backdoor diamonds. Crazy unlucky from Oscar to not get any of that. What was I going to say? He had basically like 6 outs, the 3 5s, sorry, the 3 5s, the 2 jacks, and consider the backdoor 1 full out. All right, we've got fold. I'm going to raise with the ace deuce suited. I think Brant 3 bets me here. What size does he choose? I forget how I react. Oh, I definitely fold to that. I'm out. If he makes it like 60, like 3x, like how some people do sometimes, like, bad, what do you call it? Like bad sizing, as I just like to call it. Then, I mean, in position, it's like not terrible. But people usually do it out of position as well. And even then, sometimes they choose too small sizings in position, in my opinion, for how deep we can be. But yeah, against that sizing, I'm never really going to be contesting it. All right, big hands here. Oscar with the JJ, OMC with the KK, V with 10-8 suited. So I think V opens out of the blind, and it looks like OMC 3 bets. Oscar jams, fold. And yeah, I think V gets up not too long after this. It just appears to be like general frustration of like things kind of aren't going their way, which is very fair. Very fair. Jack on the flop is going to be it's going to be a pot for Oscar. OMC gives it right back via, he gives a bad beat, then he takes a bad beat. That's really just all it was. Only got about 30 minutes left in this first video, and then we'll start getting some bet sizes and more camera changes and this and that. Like everything will be a little bit easier production-wise, but it hasn't been bad for me. All right, so V raised to, 30 or so with a 10-6 out of the blinds, which is very, very loose. He gets a bunch of calls. Looks like 4 calls. Wait. Oh, John jams on him. I was like, why'd he fold? John jams on him with the A7 suited. Wow, very aggressive, bro. Cool play from John. Very nice. Very, very nice. They sensed no one really had much, and they said, my pot. Yep, this is the hand that does him in, bro. I think Mike V 3-betting him here just like tilted the shit out of him. He's like, I'm done playing. Mike 3 bets, V folds. Wait, I do get king here again, bro. I have such a terrible memory. So that's 3 kings in one session, although one of them did get a chop. I guess this is the break hand because he gets the 1-2 punch. V raises again. I mean, he's raising like a lot too. But at this point, he hasn't seen a lot of these 3 bets, so he doesn't know if we are picking on him or not. So it's very tough right now. But yeah, I go 3-bet, he folds, and now that is basically that. I forgot. But yeah, so he picks up, dealer change, we switch, and now we are on to the kind of second session of the night. Even though I played this hand, I don't care. Still, actually played a pretty sizable pot with John here, but we end up chopping it, so especially it doesn't really matter. Richard comes in. Richard was a very nice guy. He was cool. He actually gets involved right away with the 76 suited, it looks like. 76 suited, they are going to raise to 25? Looks like 25, yep. OMC calls, what do I have here? Oh, I got a couple of J's, and I remember this hand. Yeah, it's their very first hand. I'm like, damn, bro. I don't know like what kind of player they are. I'm like, I kind of want to feel them out a little bit. So I do only flat with the JJ here. 3-bet, obviously fine. Obviously standard. Obviously a good play and probably even the better play. But I really don't mind just like playing post flop, even multi-way. I really don't. Do I lead this flop? I think I probably lead this flop. I'm not sure why I chose an 8 on the turn. So I lead the flop, and then this is a huge board for Richard here. Wow, I did not know what they had. Brant with the king 10 of diamonds as well. Holy cow. And then, yeah, Richard flats here. Wait, what is the actual board? Well, can we get a camera angle? Because, okay, so yeah, they did not have the pair, but they have the open-ended straight draw with the flush draw. Turn aces basura for me, bro, because there's a lot of ace-x flush draws out there. I check. Brant, I believe, does something. I don't really know what he does. Either bets or he checks. He bets big. Richard goes with it, I think. I can't imagine him folding. And then I definitely fold here. Yeah, Richard jams. Richard jammed that turn. Yeah, in real time, when Richard jammed the ace turn, I thought he had like ace, king, ace, queen, honestly. I thought he had like an ace, king, ace, queen. And then he puts Brant in a really tough spot because even though he has the best hand, it's like very, very, very tough to call down here. So really nice hand from Richard. First one in, bro. Really solid. Hindsight is 2020. I should have 3-bet the shit out of you. Now we know for next time. All right, Mike with the best looking hand here. King Jack suited on the button, and he only limps. Come on, Mike. You got to raise up sometimes. Put on the pressure, brother. Oscar with the 7 on the 7-7-4 rainbow board. Gonna check around. Deuce on the turn. No one's got one. Goes bet, and everyone folds from Oscar. Holds around, but Brant's waiting in the blinds with the ace-king offsuit. OMC is going to open up with the queen 5 suited. Brant is going to only call. Interesting. 10-10 deuce on the flop. Gonna go check bet, and Mike was in there as well with the ace-queen offsuit. Didn't even see that. Sorry, with the ace-queen offsuit. Brant is going to come along with the ace-king. Going to float 1 out of position. Check again. Now OMC still with the nada is going to bet his turn flush draw. Makes it a lot easier for him. If this is the 7 of clubs, this is a way harder double barrel, but turn flush draw is much, much easier. Brant kind of like perks up, almost like as if he was gonna like shove or something. Very interesting on his part. I wonder what he was thinking about there. All right, folds around Oscar on the button, who's got the queen jack also. Looks like he just called though. Interesting. It's another spot where you guys want to raise it up, y'all. Raise it up. Don't want the blinds coming for free, especially when these games are so high raked, like the percentage. You're literally getting like half the pot raked when it's like, you know, $20 and you're gonna take 10 out. So right. I raise with 10-7 suited again to 15. Everyone folds. All right, that's always nice. Folds around to the blinds. They're gonna chop, it looks like. Or was it a raise? Maybe Richard raised his 10-5 offsuit. All right. I straddle. I get the 10-3, baby. It's going to fold to John, who has queen 9 offsuit. He's going to raise to 3x, and even though 10-3 is a nice little meme hand for those Springfielders, I still cannot call. Right here, I start kind of, I think, switching out some chips. That's all I'm doing. Richard opens to 5 BB, and he gets, looks like 1 caller from Mike, who's got the ace-queen offsuit, hits top pair, top kicker on the flop, is going to probably check and then raise. Yep, check raise. And Richard calls with his gutter ball. Very speculative. Turn diamond, Mike V with the queen of diamonds in his hand. Richard bets tiny. Really weird play by Richard here, honestly. I'm not sure what he's going for. I have no idea what he's repping. And then Mike takes a long time to check the river. Richard bets 150. I don't remember what Mike does here. I hope he calls. The flush is out there. And Mike puts in the call. Nice hand. Nice call by Mike. Fold the suited ace first. Oh no, it's versus a raise. That's fine, I guess. Richard raises with a jack 4 offsuit from very early position, honestly. Oscar calls with the king 3 offsuit, and they're going to go heads up. Oscar is going to lead with like literally nothing, just king high. Richard hits his board pretty hard. He has the middle pair and he has the flush draw. He hits the 4 of flush on the turn. And then I believe it's going to go, Oscar's going to check his cards, and then he's going to probably check the street, or is he going to really just bluff at this? I didn't even see him bet. I didn't see him bet, but Richard must have bet. Richard must have bet like 30 or 40 or something. Sorry. All right, folds around, and we chop. I always opt for the chop, even though like on the stream game it's like a little annoying because like I feel like on the 3 blind game we should just like play it out, but people just always want to chop, so it's like fine, it's whatever. Plus, yeah, the rake is so big, it's wild. The rake is so big. I'm on the button with an 86 suited. I'm gonna open it up. We got Oscar and Brant to call. Oscar's got, what do we got here? Oscar's got king 10 suited. Brant has got queen jack suited. Wow, Brant leads out. Luckily for me, he had my clubs dominated, so I get to get out of there easily, but he leaves the top 2 on a draw heavy board. Oscar's going to call with the open and straight draw, and the turn is going to brick off deuce X on Oscar. It sounds like he checks, and Brant is going to put out a 115 double barrel-ish kind of bet. He's just, betting the turn again. Oscar's going to make a nice little lay down here, relatively conservative. We've seen him gamble it up already, so interesting fold. Like, if you told me that he called there, I wouldn't be surprised. So it's just kind of like interesting to note when people are on their different strategies. He has also been losing so far, so maybe he's like tightening up a little bit, just trying to play like a little bit less splashy. Folds to me. I raise with the queen 9 offsuit. on the cutoff, it looks like. Brant's going to call out of the small blind. We're going to go heads up to A. What does Brant have here? Queen 4 suited. We have a queen 5 deuce flop. I'm going to bet my top pair. Brant's going to call with his top pair. Flush draw out there. Flush comes in on the turn. Brant's going to check. I'm going to double barrel. Pretty small, honestly. And I think Brant just mucks here. No, he calls again. Interesting. He calls again. River jack. He checks, and I show my kicker plays. Nice hand. To me, betting the river seems like a little thin, honestly, just based on my kicker. It's like, can I really expect to get called 3 times by a worse queen? Do I really want to open myself up to getting check raised? No and no. Well, maybe and no. Maybe a worse queen calls again, but I definitely don't want to get check raised. All right, we've got a raise from OMC, early position with the ace queen offsuit. Unknown is going to call with the jack 10 suited, and we've got a king jack 5 monotone board, and neither player has a diamond in their hand. It goes check, bet, fold, and OMC actually takes it down. OMC actually takes it down. All right, straddle from OMC. It's going to fold around to Oscar, who is going to call with the 10. Sorry, he's going to raise or call with the 10-7 suit. I can't even see. Looks like a call from him. And Richard with the deuce is going to put on the $60 open out of the BB. OMC is going to flat with the ace 5 suited. He's got the solver hand, and Oscar is not going to let his 7-10 highway go. 10 on the flop is going to give Oscar the... No, not best hand. Oh, deuce on the flop. My bad. Deuce on the flop for Richard. I'm looking at the equities. Deuce, jack, 10 on the flop is going to really crush here. OMC's got the backdoor flush draw and backdoor gutter. Oscar is hoping to not hit on the turn, bro. He doesn't know, but he's hoping to not hit a 10 or a 7. 9 on the turn gives him a little bit of additional equity. It's going to check. Richard's going to bet out. Oscar's going to have to make a decision here. Tough spot, for someone who likes to play a lot of hands, which Oscar clearly does. They want to gamble. They want to see their 7 or their 8 hit on the river, or a 10 maybe. But little do they know, most of those outs are no good. Queen on the river, and Richard checks it back very quickly. Now, I think you actually can go for value here, bro. I think you can go for value here. Queen jack, 10 queen, queen 9, queen X, jack 9 that didn't raise the turn, 10-9 that didn't raise the turn. There's actually a lot of 2 pairs that you can bet for value against. You can just go bet fold, Of course, you're going to value own yourself against 8X and King X, but you are going to value own the other hand. So I really don't mind a bet on the river by Richard. Really do not mind a bet on the river by Richard. Like, now, if he's checking with the intent of check calling versus missed clubs, that's also fine, I guess. But I think you can get a little more value out of your set by betting there. This is the first time I've seen these camera angles. Looks like someone's in the booth. Someone is in the booth. All right, looks like we got to fold over to, or limp over to John, raise to 30. A couple of folds. They're just playing with the camera now. All right. We need at least the cards. This hand is definitely weird in that it says I didn't scan my cards, but I guess I just had them on top of each other. Okay, we fold to a 40 raise from Richard on the button. Our hand must have been garbage. Oscar called. Cameras are not switching. Come on, guys. Oscar bets the turn with nothing. Richard folds his nothing. And, oh, my bad. That is the end of this one. So we're going to start now the production with, like, a little more quality. And we are back. Now we've got the ticker going with the stats and the stacks, although the stats are not going to be accurate. I don't know exactly what happens, but they're not accurate. So just take my word for it. All right, skipping through the bomb pot hand. I've got a king jack suited. I probably raise it up here, 3x. Kind of my standard, honestly. Oscar is going to call with the ace 4 offsuit. Brant will call with the queen 9 offsuit. Oh my god, how much easier it is for me to do this when I'm not having to look through and see everything. Richard's going to call with the 97 offsuit. We're going to go 4 ways to a 8-3 deuce flop. I could see myself sleep betting here. I could see myself checking here. 8 high boards are hard to hit. I do have backdoor spades. Oh, but we get led into for 30. I can see myself calling here. I can see myself folding here. So kind of for the exact same reasons why I see betting. I mean, it's more preferential to be the better than the caller. So I did opt to let it go. We also have 3 players behind us, which is like a little tough, but I really don't mind either option. I guess in this spot, raise would have been the proper play. Who knew? In this spot, raise would have been the proper play. Who knew? Richard now is going to, I was going to say probably keep betting because it's like, oh, why would you start the bet but not keep betting? It's a weird place to start a bet though, with the 97 off. Oscar with the overcard and gut shot. and we're going to go to a Jack River, which will hit nobody. Richard, now probably going to bet again because like you got yourself in this situation this way, so you kind of have to like get yourself out in the same way, which is just by betting again. He thinks about it for a while and checks. Is he going to raise this river? 60 on the river. Interesting spot to go bet, and then check fold? Super weird, bro. Very, very odd. You could just let it check to me, Richard, so that it could have, I could have C bet and then can check the turn and I can hit a jack on the river. Would have been way cooler. Unknown with the 6-6, Oscar with the queen 10 off. They're going to open limp. Once again, I would love to see a raise there. Brandt is going to come along with a 98 suited. They're going to raise it up to $20. John's going to muck the 98 offsuit. Richard's going to let it go. Unknown is going to come along, I'm sure, because 6-6, and Oscar is not going to fold. A little bit of focus issues right now, like with the main camera, it's like out of focus. All right, queen 10, it means open-ended straight draw for Oscar. They have effectively the best hand on the flop, even though 6-6 is technically the best hand. Checks around. The 6-6 from Unknown will bet first to act. Pretty solid bet, honestly. No one represented a king, no one represents a jack, and you can beat a 5. So I like the bet, actually, and she takes it down. It's funny when like one of these cameras is like out of focus, but not all of them are out of focus. What do we fold? Queen 4 offsuit. Okay, yep. Smart. Good enough. Folds around. Everyone's going to chop, probably. Or Richard's going to raise out of the SB. He's not a chopper. And then OMC is going to flat with the ace 8 offsuit. Richard to the king 9 offsuit. 10-5 deuce flop. We're going to go check, and then OMC is going to stab OMC. A little aggro here. Going to bet the $20 on the flop. Richard's going to peel with his with his overcard and, kind of overcard with the 9. Earns the 9, the aforementioned. He's going to check again to OMC, who may try to get the showdown at this point. And now I can only assume Richard's going to bet for value on the river after what we've seen so far. They're going to probably bet. OMC's going to they are going to call. They're going to pay them off. $35 payoff. Wow. I guess they want to beat like 8-7, Jack, Queen, 3-4, 4-6. 4-6 is what I meant to say. 6-3. Okay. I guess I can see you calling from OMC. Pretty loose though. We straddle, and Oscar is going to call it the ace-5. We go 6 ways. Richard with the 73 suited. Mike with the 10-8 offsuit. OMC with the king deuce suited. Unknown with the 75 suited. Me with the 53 offsuit. I do contemplate betting on this board right here. Do I bet? No, I think I just check. It's close. It's going to sound like such semantics, but I way prefer having the 4 than the 3. It's just like beating the 3 versus chopping with the 3, and like having a no kicker too. So if someone else has the 3, I'm going to be out kicked is like another kind of thing. I really love being like heads up here or 3 ways when I start betting with hands like this. Not necessarily 6 ways. Although this is one of the flops that would, be easier to stab at, single high card, doesn't hit a ton of people's range. But I actually make a pretty conservative fold here, if I remember correctly. I do not peel. The one big worry that I had was that if I hit my 3, it may not be good, in that like someone may just have a better kicker. And it's like Richard does have a better kicker, and it's like that's not the kicker I'm worried about. I'm worried about like Jack 3, Queen 3, 10 3, hands like that. So in a way I was right, but not like that, So actually, just looking back real quick, what was my equity with the 3? 5%. 5% equity with my 3, so okay. That's a pretty solid fold then if I only have 5%, and they are asking for much bigger than 5% of the pot. Not much bigger, but you know what I mean. Like, they want 15% pot, I only got 5% equity. Can't make it happen. Hearn is a 3, of all things, and the case 3, and it's going to check over to OMC, who's going to put out a bet with the king and his now newly turned flush draw. I am sitting here curious about what the hell is going to actually transpire. Richard, I actually forget what they do. I think they put out a raise to 180? Or am I wrong? You got a raise, right, Richard? We make it 160. That's right. They clicked it right back at him. That's what it was. They clicked it right back at him from 80 to 160. So OMC is not going anywhere, but Richard definitely could have gotten more value from like draws and like King X. In this instance, both. But raise good, size too small, obviously. You can't go smaller than that, but yeah, it's not going to be too big. I think this goes check, bet, and then I completely forget. He does look him up on the 150 action. He does look him up, and Richard and I would have ended up chopping, or no? 3-3, then the king, then the 8. 3-3, king 8. No, 7. 7 would have played. 7 would have played. That's crazy. Even the 7 would have played. That's wild. So wait, no, it wouldn't have. No, it wouldn't have. Three threes. I only counted 2 3s. 3 3s. The 7 would not have played. I'm so dumb, bro. I'm so dumb. I'm leaving that in. I'm not editing that out. No, the 7 would not have played, but because 3 3, then king and 8. But It's still close. Still close. But yes, that would have been a chop between him and I if I did peel the flop loosely, but it's like completely fine. Very minuscule EV given up or like that I would have lost by calling. Like it's plus or minus like a 2 BP decision probably either way, like not a huge mistake or huge positive situation. So we've got a raise off the cutoff from Richard to 40. Straddle this hand? 1, 2. Did Oscar straddle? I don't think Oscar straddle. I think this is straight up 8x open. Oh no, it was a straddle. It was a straddle. My bad. Oscar did straddle. So it's a 4x open. OMC is going to call with the 98 offsuit, and Oscar is going to call with the Queen Jack suited. We're going to go 3 ways. Richard will be in position, but with a dominated holding, although they are all kind of like sharing each other's outs. 3, 7, 5 on the flop. Richard with the top pair and flush draw. What a flop for them, bro. Crazy. OMC's got the 2 overcards in the gutter, and Oscar is probably just going to get out of here with the 2 overcards and nothing else to really go with it. Yeah, Richard bet 60. OMC calls. Oscar could float here, but now he just lets it go. Just because the extra money from OMC calling like does give him pretty decent odds, and Richard did bet kind of small as well, giving him decent price. Rainbow board or with a single backdoor, I could see him calling. Ace on the turn is what happened there. Probably check bet fold. Probably check bet fold. I was gonna say I could see OMC maybe leading there and just trying to like bluff because they have shown aggression before and spots like that. All right, we've got big hands here. Richard with the ace jack suited, Brant with the king king. OMC is going to call Richard's $40 open with 97 suited. Brant is going to probably put it. I do think I remember this hand. I think Brant puts in like the 3-bet to what do they have, Brant? 477. Okay, yeah, looks like the stack doesn't look too big, but I think they actually went a pretty sizable pot right here. They go 145 with the KK. Pretty small open, Loki. I mean, but the pot is also tiny at this point, given the stack to pot ratio. So I actually think that they chose a pretty good size, you know, pretty good size. 375 in the middle, so he can comfortably just jam like any board that he wants to. And now with the OMC overcall, easy. SPR is sitting at a comfortable like 0.75 for Brant, a very favorable situation for him. I don't know about this call from Richard. Like, I don't know if this is good or not. I think this is like close. Wow, what a flop. I did not know Richard hit that hard. Holy cow. 35% equity, dude, against top set. 35% equity against top set. Crazy with the gut shot royal flush draw. Brant opted for 120. This hand is actually remarkably similar to the hand that I had earlier with King King. Flop top set, extremely draw heavy board. And I believe Richard does the same thing that the last C9 does. And I think he just jams here. I believe, right? I mean, it's such a great play because, like, what else are you going to do? Are you going to fold on the turn? Are you going to ever fold? Unless, of course, you break out and gets to the river. He just cold calls. Keeping OMC in is, like, not a bad play as well. Because, like, of course, Brant doesn't ever look like he's going to fold here, betting 3 ways, only leaving himself behind. Like, the SPR was already 0.75, and he bet, you know, like 33. So, which is fine. It's completely fine. I'm not saying any of this is bad or anything. It's just, it's very, very strong looking. Queen on the turn. I did not know. I forgot how this hand went down. So Richard actually gets there. Imagine that, but you get there and then someone jams right into you. Wow. Nice acting, Richard. Oh, man. Oh, it's like, if I could just only have the nuts right now, that'd be great. But I have to have a redraw too? Oh, I mean, I guess I call. One chip, I call. I guess I call. You know, like if I could only just have... Nice acting by Richard. He gets OMC to... Oh, because he turns clubs. Wow, dude, this is tough for Richard, dude. He's 60% to scoop a huge pot. 60% to scoop a huge pot. Oh, and that's right. Richard only called. He did not jam. He only called. He did not jam. Holy cow, what a main pot. Look at that main pot size. 1.5K in the middle. 1.5K in the middle. Just the sheer amount of chips. Ugh, board pairs on the river. Richard calls for hearts. He checks. OMC checks. His 9 high. Richard chose the straight. Brant pseudo slow rolls a little bit there with the boat. Definitely would have flipped that up as soon as it went check, just to you're not losing there, so you probably wanted to show. Then homie shows straight, and you did leave like 2 seconds between showing your hand. Wow, what a pot. Very nice hand, Brant. No like fault to them. You know, like, they are playing a very big pot, and they just want to like take a second to realize like what's going on. So I'm not going to you know, hold that against them. But to anyone more experienced / more comfortable in those situations, definitely try to fast roll. It's just kinder, you know. I don't know how else to word it. Like, winning the money is all that should really matter, and doing it in as painless of a way for your opponents is nice to keep the vibe as high as possible, to keep people wanting to gamble and to play with you in this net. All right. Anyway, like that's like super irrelevant. It's not like what they did was egregious in the slightest. What they did was completely neutral, actually. And what I'm advocating for is being like plus, being like nice, being kind. It's not like they did something negative at all. Richard Ray's early position. I do make a conservative fold with the Ace 10 offsuit out of the SB. It's just such a crap position, but I do for that spot. Richard with the Queen. King Queen suited. I'm sorry, guys. I did not have it on 2x speed since we switched to the new recording. That is my bad entirely. I'm like, why am I taking so long for this recording here? Enhanced bitrate. Give me the best quality possible. All right, now we're zooming. We've got a 6x open from OMC with the King 3 suited. Mike is going to call with the A7 suited. Oscar is going to call with the 10-3 suited. And we're going to go 3 ways to a Queen 5-8, no one's suit. Mike V turns third pair and actually has the best hand right now. River Deuce, and I think it's just going to check down. Mike wins. Nice. Sorry about that, folks. It was going a little slow, and I didn't even really fully notice. My apologies. Good action kind of makes up for that kind of pacing. So we've got a straddle from Richard. OMC is going to raise 3x again. Fold all around. Brant's gonna fold too. Yep, fold. I think Richard folds too. Nice hand from OMC. Looks like, yeah, I'm gonna start like skipping through just to make sure that we can get this done in an orderly fashion. So OMC raised to 20, no straddle this hand. Richard calls with the 10 with the Jack 9 suited. OMC with the 10-7 offsuit. Brant with a King Queen offsuit calling on the button. OMC's gonna C bet. It looks like 35 on an Ace Deuce 5 rainbow, or sorry, flush draw board, and it's probably gonna take it down. She's gonna fold the Jack. Yeah, it's got a pretty mediocre holding right there. Okay, whole lot of nothing. Fold around to Angel, who calls on the button with 8-7 suited. Can definitely raise there, my friend, especially because you haven't played a hand in a while. So like people are gonna put you on like a tighter range, just like off of that alone. Jack King 3 flush on the flop. Richard and Oscar are also in. No one really has anything except Richard and Oscar both do kind of like backdoor diamonds, and like they're both high diamonds. Richard actually connects with his 6 on the turn, and he does not bet it, no. And Angel will actually river the best hand with the 8. Richard's gonna bet the river. Angel's gonna probably call and win the hand. Nice hand, Angel. Although raising pre is better. Definitely consider that next time. I've been largely dealt out for the last hour or so. Kind of is what it is. You get a nice first front row seat at the show. So Oscar is at 25. Angel's gonna 3-bet to 50, which is not a good size, my friend. You want to make so against someone like Oscar who raises not very frequently, they limp a lot. Assume they have a very strong range here. Like we've seen Oscar open limp a lot today. So when they make it 5x, strong raise. You can then make it strong yourself. Go 4x, not 2x. Go to 100 next time. Oscar will call you. He will give you action, and you'll make an extra $50 pre-flop because most likely, given that you block his ace x, you guys are probably going to get to the flop, miss. He's gonna check. You're gonna bet, and you're gonna win. So you want to like extract the most right now that you can. You do let Richard come in though, which is like good for you. Oh, and then did Richard? Wait. Oh no, Oscar then made it 75 with the ace queen. Oh boy, and I remember now you make it 200 if I remember correctly. I do recall this hand. That's so silly by Oscar. They probably feel dumb for doing that. They probably didn't mean to do that, didn't want to do that, but very nice re-raise on top of them, dude. Going from 75 to 200 is perfect. That was perfect, bro. Love that sizing. Oh, queen high flop. Yep, you win. And once again, Oscar, jamming your ace queen there is like so overzealous. It's like you have the hand that you're basically top of your range and you're dominating the whole board. You're only really worried about a king hitting on the turn, only 3 outs, 4 outs. You can just check here. It's all good. Let someone like Angel who knows, maybe on the off chance Angel decided I'm gonna go crazy this hand and I'm gonna raise big and then I'm gonna re-raise because you raise, and like it's a bit of a funky hand. You can't lie. But the initial thing was he did click it back at you. You know, you made it 25, he made it 50, you made it 75. Then he technically puts in the 5-bet. 5-bets are not usually bluffs, but on the rare chance that this is like an ego battle and not a good card battle, you want to let him bluff. So I'm talking to Oscar right now, and and also like you just don't want to blow him off of like 10-10, Jack. Like don't like let him get like a little false sense of security when he has those hands. Like let it go check, have the turn hit like a deuce or a 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever, and then 9-9 now all of a sudden wants to put in more money. You don't have to bet all that. You can bet you could bet all in because there's only 300 left effective, but you could bet like 150 and then you could bet the river again. So like there's a lot of ways to play this hand. I think that you lose value when you lose value when you jam the flop. And nice hand by Angel. Little, I know I'm playing at 2x speed, but it took you a full 4 seconds to call. That's a snap call. So 4 seconds in my time, 3 seconds. Took you in like real time, like about 5 to 6 seconds to call. But snap call next time. But just like Brent, you wanted to think the situation over. You guys are like, playing big pots, and it is completely normal to want to just take an extra second to make sure that things are completely kosher before you commit like, hundreds of dollars. But to anyone who is more experienced and more comfortable, that's what I'm basically saying. So once again, it's another neutral. It was a neutral call. Very, very nice tip to production as well. I saw that. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, very nice hand, Angel. Very nice hand. Oh, that's right. The unknown lady here, she saw the little trinkets that I gave to production, and she was like, "What is that? What is that?" And so I gave her some, and she was super happy. She was very receptive to the good luck charms. It's actually really funny. She asked me specifically because I think there was one unicorn in the bag, and I gave it to her, and she asked if I had any more, and I didn't. And then the next day, shout out to Max, another regular on the stream here that I think we've featured before, but you guys will definitely see in the future. He also asked if I had any unicorns, and I didn't, but I went and got some more stuff. So this week, everyone, I got your unicorns for y'all guys. I got your guys unicorns. We got more trinkets. We got more ducks. I got more frogs. I got more turtles. I got some unicorns. I got a little bit of a spice to throw in the bag. So new good luck charms for everybody. That is my way of appeasing the poker gods. Please give me luck tonight, poker gods. Please give me luck. Oh yeah, see, she's playing with it right now. That's funny. All right, decent sized pot here. Decent sized pot here. Let's scroll back real quick just to see what the pre-flop action was. It was Coca-Cola. So Richard's on the button with the queen. He's gonna put in the $25 raise, and OMC unknown are both going to call with their aces respectively. Nobody with the ace 7 offsuit. OMC with the ace queen suited though, very big ace. 9 jack 6 flop with the flush draw for OMC. 2 overcards and a flush draw. From their perspective, they only really have the 1 overcard, but they actually have an overwhelming percentage of the equity right now. Even though hold on a second. How this can't be right, bro. I know that this factors in card removal, but there's no way. Well, I'll run this on an equity calculator later. But there's no way the ace queen is 51% equity here, bro. In what world? How? Queen is so very clearly in the lead against it. You only have 12 outs versus it. 12 outs times 2 times 2. I guess? Plus the backdoor straight draw? Okay, I guess. 12 outs times 2 times 2? And queen has to share the rest of their equity with like the 6-4. I guess that's what's really throwing me, is that the queen is like 32% right now. I think once the 6-4 folds and the a7 folds, it'll be like 50-50. Okay. I guess I can live with 50-50. 12 times 2 times 2. Yeah, that's a typical trick that we use. 12 outs times 2 going to the turn would be 24. Going to the river would be 48%. Wow, that's actually is more than I was expecting. Plus, yeah, you can give them a little bit extra for the backdoor straight outs that you have on both the high end and the low end. All right. I stand corrected after thinking about it for a few seconds. I do stand corrected. So Richard bets 150. OMC is going to click it back at him to 300. And Richard, I think, is probably just going to jam it in his face. Eating a cookie, jamming your queens. You love to see it. Like, what else can you do here? Because, like, do you really want a bad turn card to come off? Yeah, I was going to say thank you. 45% equity. Wow. Good luck. Oh, yeah, and OMC is a run at oncer. He's a run at oncer. Wow. And he just, like, got there immediately. Crushed. Crazy. Nice hand, OMC. Nice hand, OMC. Right. John's going to raise to 30 with the queen jack offsuit from the hijack. Richard's going to call from the cutoff with the queen 4 suited. OMC out of the small blind will call with 9-9 with their newly found 1.6k stack. Nice hand, last hand. Oscar has been whittled down to 162, but he still comes along with the 7 deuce offsuit. I think that's part of it, sir. I think that is part of it. You're going to want to fold the 7 deuce offsuit or shove pre, but calling is going to be tough. Now that they went multi-way and Oscar has middle pair, it's like now you have to fold the middle pair. Dang. All right, Richard bet with their flush draw, a7-6 on the flop. OMC with the 9-9 looked them up once, and I think Richard's going to keep betting here. Wow, yeah, because they turned the gutter, so like there's really no wow. And well, they bet small. So I was saying why they call again, but they do bet pretty small. And OMC called again. Check on the river, Richard. What are you going to do? You going to bluff at it again, or taking a long time now for a bluff? Taking a really long time for a bluff. OMC might even call him down at this point. That's a long time to think for, because like when people do this, what they're doing is they're psyching themselves up. They're like, it's like a little engine going. It's like, I should bluff. I'm all in. And it takes them a while. But when it's a slam dunk, all in obvious play, you just do it, So I could actually see OMC looking him up here based on that tentative behavior. I mean, he's playing like super face up in this exact moment, which is just like really surprising because it's like almost like the reverse tell, you know, where you're playing so face up, people might think that you're playing like, you know, backwards and like you tanked on purpose with a good hand to do the reverse, you know. All right, we're gonna skip forward a little bit, but OMC calls him down. Wow, nice hand, Jeff. Very nice hand. Well played, sir. I mean, he intuitively or consciously picked apart what we just saw right there, where it's like, gotta go all in, gotta go all in, all in. Didn't want to, but did. And Richard with the reload. OMC 2.2K. Very nice, my friend. Very nice. Oh, we missed the Bonpa hand. All right, we'll skip through this. Oh, because David was doing a double shift, I believe, in this moment. All right, looks like we're taking a little break here. Folds over to oh, wait, what did it? I don't have the actions, but Oscar definitely didn't fold his ace king. He called. Oscar called. Richard raises to 20 with the ace. Sorry, with the queen 9 offsuit. We got a bunch of aces out there. Oscar 3-bets his now. Limp re-raises. That's what he's gone for. Okay, limp re-raise with the ace king offsuit. This play is very nice, although given the equities right now, okay, good. Only the aces were involved. I was gonna say, given the equities, if a non-ace hand wants to go with it, he's probably gonna be in a little bit more rough shape because everyone's got an ace right now. So nice hand to Oscar. I'm currently waiting for the button to pass me so that I don't make the players who are in the blinds pay twice. In the gold room here, we do not actually make people post their missed blinds just to keep the game flowing. And as a result, people can, in fact, pay the blinds multiple times in a row. Like I've been the straddle like twice, 3 times in a row because just people keep coming back into their seats in between. I've been the big blind 2, 3 times in a row. It just kind of is what it is. And like, I don't really like having that happen to me. So I try not to make other people go through that. Looks like Unknown had a top pair, won a little, or sorry, top 2 pair, won a little hand. We are back in Richard Straddle's UTG. We've got all call. I call here. I guess I could have raised here with the Jack 7 suited. It's a bit of a weak call. Just trying to get post flop with a bunch of people here. Jack 9 6 flush draw. Check to me. I'll probably bet. Angel bet. Oh, Angel's got a nice little nuts here. Richard bet small. I call. That's pretty standard here. And yeah, Richard had top pair. I had top pair. Angel only calls as well. Turn is not what he wants to see. Queen of clubs killing his action. Check, check, check. And then river queen. And I think we just check it down because Angel wanted to just show his hand, I guess, or whatever, you know. But obviously bet your hand, Angel. Bet your nut flush. Someone might have a queen. Someone might have a weaker flush. Someone might want to call with whatever. So obviously you want to get a little value there. King for John now. Oscar with the ace king. Oh boy, big hand. Big hands, big hands. Angel with the 5-5 coming in. OMC is the one who opens us up with the Jack 6. And then it looks like call. John's going to 3-bet to 150. It's Oscar's going to jam his stack, and they're probably going to go heads up. Probably going to go heads up. I think they run it 2x, and they chop it up. All right, straddle from OMC. It's going to fold around to Richard, who... Oh, sorry, it's going to fold around to me. My bad. Who's going to make it 25 with the Queen Jack offsuit. We're going to get a couple calls from Richard with the 10-8 offsuit. OMC with the 8-5 offsuit. They're kind of cannibalizing their own outs there. If they check to me, I'm going to bet and win. I don't remember what happens, but that's what will happen in this instance, I'm sure. Check, bet, fold. Cool. Makes sense to me. That tracks. It is actually genuinely funny when I truly do not remember the outcomes of some of these hands that I am even involved in. But that is the benefit of being here. We get to review our own hands. Where otherwise it's like very time consuming to just like stop and review your own hands. But this is like just like a side benefit. Oh, she is so funny, bro. I gave her the bag to go through to be like, here, take what you want. It's really adorable when people like really take to the trinkets, you know? All right, so let's see. Big board, but no one's got any hands. I'm going to straddle from the UTG and let's get into some action. OMC only calls with the ace now. They've been so aggressive. Wow. I checked my option with the 95 suited. I believe I bet here on a board. Oh, OMC's going to lead out with their top pair, so I probably just call here with the FD. Do I hit here? I feel like I hit here. My brain tells me that I hit here. Do I not hit here? He bets really small on the turn again, so it's like calling is like my only option. If he bet really big, I could see folding, but he bet so small. Yeah, something in my the back of my brain is telling me that I hit on this river, and then it goes like check, bet, and then someone does call me. Oh no, you know what it is here? This is what happens. I do bet, but then and this is what exactly what I'm talking about, guys. Like watch, I do what I preach. I call here, and I call because I wanted to let Oscar overcall as well. But as soon as Oscar calls, I flip my hand immediately because I know I'm good, basically. Because like look at his sizing on the river for OMC. I just think he's gonna call a raise, you know. Look at his sizing. So as soon as Oscar calls, I flip my hand because I'm like and I even say I'm pretty sure I'm good. Or I say something like I got it, or you know, just to let them know that I know that I probably have the best hand, and I'm not trying to slow roll you guys. I'm not trying to slow roll. I could tell Oscar was looking at the trinkets when she was looking at him. Seeing Oscar looking, so I always offer it to everybody. I would never just like give one person, something. All right, we've got raise from Richard with the Queen 5 offsuit from the cutoff. And then Mike is going to call out of the BB. OMC is going to call out of the SB. 2 suited kings. We're going to go to a King Jack 4 monotone. Both OMC and Mike connect. OMC is going to lead out 35. Mike folds? What? There's no way. Cards got read wrong. Mike's not folding there. Not for one single bet. Wait, it says raise to 35? Wait, did it go bet and then raise? Check, bet, raise? Okay. They might have checked to Richard who bet who bet 10 or 15 and then OMC raised. OMC raised. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I do not totally fault that right there. I was just really surprised. I was going to say to a single bet, Mike's not folding, but no, that was not a single bet. All right, we are going 5 ways here. I have an ace. Am I suited ace? Oh boy, we got a big. Oh no, I don't have nothing. Shit, man. I ain't got shit here. And this is Mike's hand. Mike's got a nice hand here. I ain't got nothing. I think I just limped him in the blinds or something. I don't know. I think I'm in the blind. I just completed because I'm like, why do I have Jack 6 offsuit here? Yeah, I'm in the big blind, and I just called the 5. That's all. That's what happened here. Mike's got a huge hand, and Unknown Lady has the ace with the worst kicker at the moment, but she's going to hit a nice turn for now. Like as long as Mike doesn't get there, then they're gonna chop. Mike does get there on the river. Gonna put out a bet of 50. That is a good bet size, Mike. You got her, bro. Very smart to realize where you were in the hand, that she probably just had like a weaker ace and she was not going to call a bigger bet. Like really good bet size, honestly, to get paid there. Betting like a quarter, no, like a little bigger than quarter pot, like 30% pot. Very nice. All right, next hand. Looks like we got a suited ace from Brant out of the third. Oh, we're gonna chop it up. Doesn't matter who's got what. All right, Unknown with the queen. Gonna raise up $20. Oscar with the JJ now is gonna call. Okay, wow. He averted a bit of chaos right there potentially by not 3-betting before the flop. Richard's going to also come along with the Queen 7 offsuit. Wow, very loose. Unknown's going to c-bet an ace 6 deuce flush draw board, and Oscar's going to call with the JJ, no backdoor. Richard's going to contemplate like he's got a decision. I don't know why you're contemplating, bro. You can just fold here. It's all good. He folds. Turn is another ace. Turn is another ace. And they go check, which is weird because like that's the time to bet again, honestly. River is a diamond and it goes check. Unknown's gonna win with the queen. And did she get queen again? She did, because this time she raised to 30. Wow, that's crazy. So Unknown with the queen a second time in a row. Brant is gonna call with the Jack 10 suited. She makes it 30 from the +1 position, and Richard is going to choose his trinket of choice. Let's see, check, bet, and then fold. Nice hand from the Unknown. Would I start race at 20 with the King 7 offsuit? Okay, sure, whatever. Little loose, little speculative, but why not? Maybe I'm thinking I haven't played a hand in a while here. Let's like play some poker cards. I mean, there's only 2 people in position to me. So ace, queen, jack board. I honestly don't remember what I do here. John with the bottom 2 pair. Good thing I didn't see bet into him. 7x on the turn is going to connect with me, but not big enough to want to continue here. John bets and takes it down. I raise again. I got a queen jack offsuit this time. We're going to go 3x from the +1 position. Oscar's going to call with with the jack 10 off. And OMC will complete the third blind with the 65 offsuit. We have a 10-8-4 flush draw board. Let's see. Checks to me. I bet with my 2 overcards and gut shot. Oscar calls with his top pair. Very reasonable. And OMC looks like he really wants to do something here, but he thinks better of it. The turn is a king. I double barrel for like 70. Yep. And Oscar makes a decision. Oh, you know what this is? I forgot here. I didn't even see how much money Oscar had, and I even said, I'm like, oh damn, I should have looked to see what your stack was. And I just call immediately because it's like he's only got like $30 left, and I'm just priced in, and I miss, and it is what it is, And I just say yeah one time because it's like he's got $30, so forget it. But nice hand to Oscar. Yeah, I think the king's pretty good card for my range to try and bet him off of like whatever there. If I saw his stack, I would have legit just bet his stack anyway. So it's like that hand was really very little changed by me not seeing that. So All Gucci. All right. Folds to Richard, who's going to put out the 3x, 4x. What's he go? 2.5x. Wow. Okay. Makes it easy for me. I've got the ace 10 offsuit, but Mike has actually got the dominant ace in the third blind there. OMC comes along with the 74 suited. We're going to check to Richard, who is going to continuation bet with his bottom pair, actually best hand at the moment. And both myself and Mike let go of our overcard and gut shot. All right, we've got straddle from Oscar. Brant is going to call first position with the Jack 9 offsuit. Richard's got the King 3 suited. Sorry, Jack 9 suited, King 3 offsuit. I mix those up. Top and bottom for Richard. Wow. I've got middle pair here with the backdoor straight draw, and I come along after Richard bets the flop. I've noticed he's a pretty aggressive player. Oscar's got the gut shot. If I hit my pair, then Oscar's going to hit his gutter, so that would have been catastrophic for me. I had no awareness of that in the moment of how bad my turned card would have been. Although my and my 5 would have also been kind of shitty too, because like the hands I'm trying to get value from Richard now just got counterfeited. So I was in like a bit of a no man's land there, honestly. All right, I have ace 10 offsuit again, best hand at the table at the moment. It's gonna fold around, and I'm not even gonna see. We just chop it up. All right, fold to Richard. Gonna raise 65 offsuit to 3x. Fold. I think my hand was like so bad I couldn't even call. It was like 8-3 offsuit or some garbage. I was like, whatever, I don't even care right now. I'll let it go. I don't even care. Although, truth be told, against some of these people, you might genuinely be. I don't know what the threshold is to when I should just call any two, but like it really is around that like 6-1, 7-1, 8-1 kind of price point where you really just like there are no blank cards, and like you would need to have like a hand with like a literal blank card that like is not a wild card, just is of no value. You need to have like 3 of hearts and no other card in your hand to make like the equity not worth calling there when you're getting like 8-1. On this turn card, we've got a big bet from not big, I guess, but a pretty sizable bet with a now second pair top kicker, but very nice hand from Nobody. All right, let's see. We've got the aforementioned Nobody is going to open up to 3x. Was this a straddle hand? I'm sorry, it was straddle. Let me see. Nope, just a straight up big open. So was that Richard? Yeah, Richard makes it. Sorry, Richard opened up in the +1 to 6x with the 85 suited. Nobody calls with the ace 10 suited. So I thought you raised for a sec. Mike's going to call with the king queen offsuit. I call with the 3-3, and Oscar completes with the queen 8 suited. Nice flop for me. I don't even remember this hand. I flop a set. Okay, I flop a set. This is probably why I don't remember the hand, because no one's got anything, and I think it just checks around, and I probably bet the turn or the river. So I let the flop check through because obviously, like just kind of like how John did before. And, nice little pot here. But I think when it checks me on the, let's see, Richard bets, do I raise? I think I probably raise here because that would make the most sense. Richard bets his absolutely nothing. He bets 45, but there's now turn spades, there's 5-4, there's deuce X. There is things to get value from, so I can easily see myself raising here. That would make the most sense. Go to like 160 and he folds type deal. Yep, 160 and he folds. Nice. That tracks. That tracks. All right, next hand, straddle from Richard, who is down in his stack, but not out. Going to come along for the 30 raise. Sorry, I didn't even see he raised. I was just calling for a second. Or did it fold to him and he raised? That's what I think it was. But only to 30. All right, so we're going to go post flop 4 ways. Brant's got the king 3 suited, 7-7 from OMC, and Oscar with the 10-6 offsuit. Wow, Oscar is way looser than I thought he was, bro. Way looser than I thought he was initially. And Richard's going to... Oh, sorry. OMC's going to lead out an ace 7... ace jack flop. Richard connects. OMC with the bet. Very weird, bro. And Richard's gonna raise to 165. Also very weird, bro. Also very weird. And OMC's just gonna let it go. To me, that's like bordering between call and fold. Clearly leaning towards call, but like not raise. Wow. Maybe I'm not seeing something there that makes that a raise. OMC is going to straddle. Going to fold to Oscar, who has king jack offsuit. Raises to 25. Nice little 2.5x size. Love it. Folds to Richard's probably... Ooh, he does not call. I think it's better with the 8-7 offsuit. He's been very splashy, but he's also been on a downswing, so he probably doesn't want to give it back the very next hand after winning some. Very common mental trope. OMC is going to check to the raiser with their 7-5 middle pair, now turned third pair, but river 2 pair. So they are going to lead, which makes sense because Oscar's probably just going to check back and they're going to win here. And it is what it is, Nice hand by OMC. Mike only calls from the first position with the king jack suited. Then OMC is going to raise up out of their third blind with a 3-3 just to a very small 4x. Mike's going to call flop top pair, good kicker on a jack 10 deuce rainbow board. No one else really has anything. Richard's the next best in line with the overcard and gut shot draw. Mike bets out 65. Pretty chunky bet. Pretty chunky bet. Richard is going to... He wants to gamble right here, you can tell, but he thinks better of it. OMC is going to put in the call? Weird, bro. Your hand's like got no equity unless he's thinking of pulling some kind of move. 80 on the turn for Mike. Very nice bet. I wonder if OMC is going to like read into this as like, I can bluff this, but maybe not. Probably not. I don't know. Very interesting call on the flop. Very interesting float from OMC. Calling again, putting Mike on like an ace, king, ace, queen, king, queen type hand. I don't know, man. That's a weird one from OMC. Like, he's kind of a sticky player, but like not that sticky usually. So interesting call down there. And I don't want to be down on the river either. All right, we straddle folds around to OMC, who's going to raise to 30. Do I call or fold here? I don't even remember. We fold the ace-6 offsuit. That's fine. A little tight, but it's fine. It's whatever. It's a little tight. A little tight. So I'm going to stand up here. Getting tired of sitting. We have a C-bet, it looks like, and take it down. Yep, very nice. All right. Good standing position. Also, the camera. Mike is like blocking my... I don't want it to block the camera, and I also don't want it to block like my vision, but it's blocking my vision. So here, let's like kind of move it over here a little bit. All right, we've got raise from Richard on the button with 2 black aces. Nobody calls out of the SB with the 66, and Oscar is going to call with the 54. We've got pretty much nothing on the flop for anyone, so Richard is still well in the lead, but Oscar's going to jam the 54 in. Wow. He's going to call, I bet. She fold, yeah, easy. They go one, so it doesn't matter. It's pretty tough to win anything there with the 8 versus the ace, I should say. You know, your only chances there are against like overcards, and then you can hit one pair and win. So when I'm, what's his name? When I'm Richard there, I might just say once because it doesn't really matter. Like, let's just run it. John is only going to call? Going for the Lembury raise here? Okay, I call 2 with the 10-9 suited. Folds over to Oscar, who goes Oscar, Jack 5 offsuit, Brant with the 10, Queen 10, Unknown with the 74. And so let's see, I've got a 10. Oh, I remember this hand, but this hand sucks. I remember this hand. This hand sucks. So we check around, I think, on the flop. And then I think I bet the turn and then check call the river. And I do so thinking literally exactly that Brant probably isn't going to bet a worse 10 for value. So Oscar actually looks up on the turn with the turn third pair. We go to the river 3 ways. Everything bricks effectively except for like 4-3, I guess. I check, Oscar checks, and then just in case Brant was betting like diamonds, Jack 9, King Queen, so many things, but I didn't put him on the 10 here. I really did not. Good bet by him. It's small too, so it's like whatever. But yeah, actually, no, that includes the pot size bet. Yeah. So he bet like a 40% pot. Still kind of small, but like. I just didn't think he would do it with his hand. I really didn't. I would way rather lose this to like A7 than to Queen 10. Way rather lose this to A7 than to Queen 10. But what are you gonna do? Show him my frustration. All right. Next hand, Richard's gonna open the hijack to king with queen offsuit. Gonna fold around to Oscar, who's gonna call with an ace deuce offsuit out of the BB. Deuce on the flop, 7-8 to go with it. He's gonna lead for what, 30? Richard's gonna probably float with the 2 overcards and the backdoor spades, and then he turns the pair. Probably gonna raise here for value. Like, why wouldn't you? You know, only calling deceptive. I guess that's why, to keep your opponent's bluffs in and to try to get some value on the river that you may not otherwise get. But of course, you then forego the value that you would get against 10-9 and against. Oh wow, another head wipe from what's his name? Another head wipe from Richard, and then he raised. Wow, very obvious reverse tells from Richard, I should say. You know, twice just. Oh man. All right, I raise. All right, I'm all in. You know, it's like very level 1. And Oscar's going to call in the end, bro. Oscar's going to call visibly frustrated. Everything did kind of brick out. The 10-9 bricked, the spades bricked, and that was that. All right, Brian is in the box. Switch the bomb pot hand. Oh, maybe this was the big hand that me and John played, and it wasn't the one earlier. But once again, we chopped the. I think we did hit the cap, but we still chopped. There's a $500 cap on the bomb pot hands in the gold room. So I believe, what is this? I just flat. No, I raise on the button with King Jack offsuit. Ace high board, check check on the flop. Is that what happens? Check on the flop, then he leads the turn. Okay, I can see myself c-betting this flop, but like king high does have some showdown value, so I guess I don't mind the way I played it. What am I thinking about here, bro? Just fold. I don't know what just happened here. That's fine. That's him, Brett. Yeah, I don't know what just happened there. It's all good. Oh, maybe we were multi-way, and the graphics weren't picking that up. All right, Richard will straddle UTG. Mike is going to call with his queen jack offsuit. I was going to say I have a pretty decent hand on the button and a queen 8 suited. A little bit of equity. Brant with the ace 6 suited dominating my clubs is not nice on a 4-3-7 2 clubs board. Richard's going to bet out with his 10-7. Unknown will fold her ace 4. I'm going to, of course, call with my clubs here. Brant is going to, of course, call with his clubs there. He could raise for sure. He does have the gut shot as well. Very, very strong hand equity-wise against like literally anything out there. So I think like once, now having the nut flush draw there is weird because it's like you kind of want to call. You do not want to get 3-bet off of your nut flush draw. But then once you have the gutter or like a pair or something to go with it, then you almost like do want to go with it because you just have so much equity against like a lot of hands that I really can see that being a raise from Brant in theory. Richard now turning trips. He bets 60. I let my hand go because my equity kind of drops a lot once the board pairs. I was, of course, only drawing to the third nut flush, comfortably, I guess you could say. Check call on the river. Brant hits a pair. Richard has the trip. This is the kind of bet that I was talking about before when Richard forewent a, that's not how you should say that, forewent. See, didn't forego his opportunity to bet with trips on a 4 straight board. This time he did. I will give you that this time is much less scary because there's a gap in the 4 card straight, whereas before it was like 4 in a row, so you could hit it on both the top and the bottom end. But that was the exact kind of bet I was talking about, so I'm really glad to see that he found it there. Very nice hand, Richard. I found my 10-9 offsuit there. I don't like that. I should min raise or 3x or something there. That's an easy spot to play the 10-9 offsuit. So a little too tight right there. I am kind of probably thinking about like winding down the session, like maybe not even like completely in the right mindset because I do know that I leave relatively soon after this. So we go 4 ways it looks like. John's got the wheel draw. He's gonna bet out on the turn, over bet out on the turn, I should say, with his ace high. Richard now with the open-ended straight draw. Looks like he wants to call. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's a straight draw. Then nobody with the middle pair and Brant with the gut shot. Wow, but everyone lets it go. Nice hand to John. Very good bet. Very solid over bet of like, B120-ish. We've got Mike first position calling the straddle with the ace king offsuit. I wonder if he's going to go for a little LRR play. Folds over to John with a 99, who only calls out of the SB. Interesting. And then Richard raises to 65 with the queen 6 offsuit. You love to see it, bro. You love to see it. Mike's going to flat. John may not flat. John may raise. What? Cards aren't right, dude. These cards are not right. There's 0% chance that John just calls and then folds 9-9 here. I'm calling it right now. Mistake. It just makes 0 sense. That would never happen. Never. What's the flop? Okay, 5-5 deuce. Bet 120, and Mike is almost certainly gonna fold. I mean, not almost certainly, but like, am I not gonna peel him? Probably not. Like, if I had to guess. He doesn't. Next hand. I raise the +1 with 7-6 suited to 3x. It's going to fold over to Richard, who's going to call out of the small blind with the ace-10 offsuit. We're going to go heads up to a 3-9-6 flop. He checks. I bet he folds probably, or maybe he calls 1 because he's got the 2 overcards. I can see him calling once. Although he is going to be dominated a lot too, so it's like, I don't love that. He checks. I probably check back if I had to guess because it's like a really good card for my barreling range. And then River. What do we do here? I actually don't remember this hand whatsoever. He checks. I check back. Now, if he bets that river, that's kind of a tough call, tall order. What misses? I mean, 8-7 misses, 7-5 got there. 9x could conceivably bet the river. King X is like less likely to just kind of like be out there. I don't know. It's a weird spot if he bets on the river, honestly. I have ace. I don't remember this hand. I must just like raise big and everyone folds, honestly. It's so funny when like once again I literally don't remember some of these hands. Oh, that's right, 'cause I made it so big. I remember going for the over raise at the end. So Richard actually made it like super. That's what it was. That's what it was. Straddle hand. I'm in the straddle. I get aces. Amazing, obviously. Richard min raised the button. So what I wanted to do was kind of go like a little reversal on him there. We're pretty, first of all, we're 1.4k effective. So like I need to build this pot. Like if I make it 200 here and he calls, we're now like SPR like 3-ish, 3.5 versus SPR of like, 8 if I make like a normal size and he calls. So the main thing that I'm trying to represent right now is like, hey, you made it a weird number. We got a couple callers here. I'm gonna try to make like a big squeeze with say, maybe a less than premium hand. Obviously that didn't work, but that was my logic right here. That was my logic. And I do believe everyone just folds here. But yeah, that's why then I just like I mentioned before, on the off chance that I ever do want to make that with, my non-premiums, now I have a little bit more credibility. It would be nice to be able to bluff in these games, bro. It would be really nice if I could ever get a bluff through. I swear. And like I feel like the only way that I will ever get a bluff through is if I can just like if I just show enough good hands that people start folding everything to me. But yeah, my general live poker experiences, like I don't know what it is, man. Like you guys can look, you can see me on the stream right here. You can see me on the stream over there. You guys let me know what it is. People just love to call me down. I think they either want to give me the action, they want to be friendly, they want to this, they want to that, they want to stack me. I don't know what it is, but I get action. So that's why like I feel like generally making moves like that is just hard for me because I get called all the time. I get called so frequently. Big hand here. It's so funny too. I was joking. I was like, man, y'all are one hand late. You got kings, queens, ace, king. Why couldn't this happen when I have ace ace? Why couldn't this happen when I have ace ace? They run it. They I believe they chop it because one queen hits on the on one of the boards for Oscar. So they basically just kind of chop up Oscar's money. Or no. Oh, because Oscar didn't have as much money and Richard did. So I forget exactly what happened. But nice hand to Mike. Nice hand to Richard. Right. Richard's going to raise, it looks like. To what? 20? I've got a king 10 offsuit in the BB. Probably not going to fold to 20. Mike calls the 9-9. I call. Oscar also calls with the 7 deuce offsuit. I'm not sure what he's doing / why he keeps playing 7 deuce offsuit, but okay. I guess it's like his thing. Checks to Richard, who bets $25. 5 ways is like pretty speculative, man. Good for him. Mike's gonna flat, and nobody's gonna flat with their top pair, obviously. Bet 35. Richard is now going to contemplate with the ace high, and he thinks better of it. And we're back. All right, so let's get back into this next hand here. I'm like just kind of getting resituated. Looks like the YouTube's getting caught back up as well. But yeah, since last recording and now I've like played on the stream for like 10 hours and have had some wild swings myself. So it's gonna take me a minute to like recalibrate back into this game a couple weeks ago mentally. Looks like we got was it a straddle pot? Because that's a pretty big raise. Hard to tell, but Richard raised up to 35. No, it's not a straddle pot because it's 30 to call for Brent in the 6 seat, who's gonna fold the king queen suited. Really, wow, it's a pretty big fold. I mean, I know that 7BB is like large, but still. Richard raised. Wait. Oh, okay. Wait. I'm so confused. My bad. Brant folded in the 6 seat. Like I said, I'm gonna get recalibrated. Oscar called. Got it. Oscar called with the king queen suit. It makes perfect sense. And I apologize about the screen doing that. It's literally because I left the browser going. Here, I'll reset it. Refresh it. All right. Sorry about that. Hopefully we get smoother play. Whenever I stream or replay these at 2.5x, or sorry, 2x, it can be a little choppy. All right, so Oscar versus Richard heads up, and Oscar out flops with the king 3-3. Pretty standard board for a small c bet by Richard. I like it. Oscar's gonna go check call, also pretty standard. Queen on the turn is gonna probably go check, and then Oscar will lead small in the river, and Richard will fold almost always. That's like how this hand's gonna play out. So I'm going to skip forward a little bit just to see if I'm wrong at all. He's like trying to find a bluff. Did he raised 150? Wow, with the double JT blocker. Look at Richard coming out of here with some little bit of pizzazz. That's really cool. I like it a lot. It's very. See, I was very wrong, bro. See, many times I've been proven wrong here. Raise, snap call. Oscar said, hell no, you ain't getting me. But that was a really cool play from Richard. But yeah, you gotta like kind of know your customer there to like really be able to get that through. Because odds are it's either gonna be like 3x or just king x, and people just like don't want to. Like 50 to 150 is just not enough, 50 to 150 is not enough. All right, so it looks like Mike's got the QQ. He's gonna 3-bet Richard's +1 open to a big number and get him to fold. Shout out to Mike. We're gonna be skipping through here because a lot of footage to get through still. John with the ace king offsuit is going to probably raise it up to, let me guess here. He's out of position. Wait, he calls? He's trying to trap Richard? Ooh, smart man. Clever. He realizes the aggression of Richard at the moment, and he's really taking advantage of that. I love it. Plays like that to me, now, people look at that as like, oh man, you're being sneaky, you're being trappy, you're being tricky. It's like, bro, that's poker. That is absolutely poker right there. I mean, if someone's going to be overly raising, like the natural rock to their scissors is to have an overly strong range that they think that they can attack. Most people's limping range and completing range is going to be very weak there, very attackable. But when you slide these hands in there, you know, you're able to really punish people who are putting on the pressure too frequently. And he back jams all in. Back jams all in on him. And what did Richard make it again? He made it like 50. And was there a call? An Oscar called? Yeah. So it's like you pick up a free $100 plus just because you know, people are being too aggressive. And you never know. Sometimes people might gamble with you. Ace Jack, Ace Queen, whatever. It's like quite perfectly reasonable. All right, looks like a couple of playable hands here. I was just saying, where'd my hand go? I have a 9-9. Richard's got the Ace King offsuit. I'm not sure how like my hand gets folded in the graphics, but I guess like just like technical error. So I think I raised a 20 and he makes it 40, which is weird. Unknown calls in between. C-bet 60. I don't know if I can continue here. Do I continue here? Let's see. I snap call. Never mind. Forget that question. I snap call. Turn 8. Probably check. Dude, I can't even. I'm wrong about commentating on my own play. This is actually funny to me. I guess he checks and I bet 115 to apply pressure to the exact kind of hand that he has. If I had to guess. If I had to guess my thought process. Dude, this is what I'm talking about, man. Getting back into the mindset of this stream versus like coming back here and playing. He calls? That's a weird call. I think now I remember this hand. He checks, I check back, and I win. He checks, I check back, and I win. Now I remember that hand. That's genuinely hilarious that I'm trying to commentate on something that I did and I still can't remember. And it was only like a week and a half ago. No, not even, dude. This was like 9 days ago. But I did play on the stream like 4 or 5 times since then. So it's like, you kind of like mix everything together. When I'm in that room too, I'm thinking, I'm like, did I see this on stream, covering the stream, or did I play against this person a lot of the time? Looks like OMC is going to raise call. Richard got a good hand at a good time. OMC is going to pick up a middle pair on a Jack 7-5 rainbow board, but Richard is completely dominating with the Queen. He may appear tilted. He could probably go like 85 to like 200 here. He just check calls. Interesting. Looking for a safe turn, perhaps. That's not exactly safe, but it's safer than a king or ace, I suppose. What did he bet? 200. Remind me again. So didn't Richard 3-bet pre though? But then he 3-bet pre-flop. But then OMC donked into him. I kind of didn't even quite realize that at the time. OMC just. Oh wait, no. Richard's out of position and he checked to him after 3-betting. Okay. So that's just like a little sneaky of a check. You know, he really is repping like, you know, like an ace king ace jack type. Or sorry, ace king ace queen type hand here. I didn't mean ace jack when he check calls the flop. But then he bets out on the turn 200. OMC snap calls. He didn't even care. He snap calls and he jams river open. Wow. And OMC snap calls again. Holy cow. Some very, you know, that really is what it was like that. I'm kind of getting back into my mental, especially with my that hand that I played last with the 9-9. It's like Richard's just been an aggressive player since like he sat down. So it's kind of like you just have to like assume that players like him have like decently wide ranges. So that's why I played that hand that way, and that's why I bet OMC played this hand this way. He's just like assuming he's tilted and like trying to snap him off, and that's pretty much the logic behind that, from what I can tell. Nice hand to Richard. When you have an aggressive image like that and you do pick up premiums, like that's like the perfect kind of dynamic that you would want. Looks like we've got a few garbanzo beans in the mix. OMC raises up to 45 with the 53 suited. Nice steal. All right, I straddle. Mike picks up the ace queen suited, and he's probably going to win it because I don't see anyone else with much. And Mike usually raises pretty big, and he does have a decent hand. He's going to pick it up with the $70 raise. Nice hand to Mike. Let's see. Richard's going to open it up to 30 off of Oscar's $10 straddle. We've got 1, 2, 3-way action. OMC in the mix with king queen offsuit for top pair, top kicker, and a king 7-4 flush draw board. Oscar with the middle pair and Richard with the basuda. So looks like Richard c-bet with the basuda, and OMC is going to check raise him off of it almost certainly. I cannot imagine Richard floats here with like just backdoor straight outs and or trying to represent a flush when it hits. I mean, that's really damn. Is he really coming along? Did he just Jesus Christ, bro. He is an aggressive player. Holy shit. I remember him being like at the table and like, you know, nice dude, but like I did not know this was going on behind the scenes. What an aggressive action. He thinks that OMC is putting a play on him. So he basically clicks it back at him, like back at OMC, I should say. That's not going to work. Obviously, OMC's either going to snap call or jam. Probably just call, you know, because it's getting like pretty big and it's kind of hard to tell, but yeah, OMC does have like decent stack behind. Oh yeah, I can also just look at the graphics. What did he bet? Just a hundo? Weird hand, bro. He picks up the 6 on the turn and then bets a hundy. Very weird hand. And then a 5 on the river. Check. And he bets 3 hundo. And I remember OMC snaps this shit off, bro. He snaps it off, dude. He didn't even really think about it. Okay, I lied. He thought about it. I am playing at 2x speed, but that was only like 15, 20 seconds. You got the flush on the board. You got the 4 straight on the board. And I remember thinking, too, at that moment, you see me watching the hand, I'm like, damn, he really just called that shit down, like, didn't even care. I was a little bit, because, like, I hadn't really played a ton with Jeff at the time. You know, this was, like, my second night, maybe, yeah, second night, I want to say, playing with him. First night, second night? Second night. But you know what it was? It was second night, but the first night he left kind of early. We didn't really play, like, a lot together. So I'm still feeling out, you know, a lot of players that come through this room, and that was definitely took me by surprise type moment. All right, so we had a little OMC open. Oscar is going to 3-bet to 70 with the TT, and OMC's going to come along with the the suited Jevin. Shout out to Dr. Jevin. Very kind guy, very cool dude, and a good player. Really good player, honestly. A sneaky good player, I'll say. You know, he's willing to like splash around a little bit. So at first you may not realize the skill that Dr. J has, but yeah. So the Jack 7 coming in through at the end as well. Coming in at the end. Yeah, I actually don't know if I've was he on the 4th of July stream that I covered the 16 hours? See, that one was so long, I don't remember. But if you guys haven't seen Jevin on the stream yet, you will very soon, I'm sure. All right, we got raise, re-raise here. OMC makes it 20 with the AJO, and Mike's going to 3-bet him with the 10-10 to 85. Very nice 3-bet Mike. Applying pressure with a hand that I could easily see him calling with. But, you know, he recognized that, like, at this exact moment, the game is playing pretty aggressive and pretty loose. So just applying max pressure there, which I really like to see. Honestly, pretty surprised that OMC didn't give him action there. He's like such a, you know, we just saw him call down there, but I think that would probably just show his respect for Mike in general. All right, Richard picking up some premiums here, and Brant with the JJ. Wow, AK suited for Richard, Jack for Brant. Suits are unblocked on both ends. Raise to 30, re-raise to 130, and here we go. Fireworks are about to happen. Oscar had called with the King 10 offsuit in between, but I don't think we're gonna get any action from that. Richard comes back over the top to 4-bets to 330. Brant calls with the Jack. Wow, leaving 412 behind effective out of Richard's stack. Brant has him covered, and we go to a flop of 5 deuce 8. Brant's jacks are in the lead, and he jams. Open jams. Interesting open jam. I actually don't like open jam here. I think check is way better because of how aggressive we've seen play from Richard. So you'd want to check in this spot and let Richard jam with his, you know, he's going to shove on you with 8. Let's put it this way. Aces, kings, queens, you're already losing to that. So like, let's just kind of take that out of the mix. If you jam into it, if it gets jammed into you, whatever. But when he's got ace, king, ace, queen, ace, jack, ace, whatever, this, that, king, queen, any hand that he wanted to kind of get out of line with pre-flop, and we've already seen him get out of line pretty much since the entire time he sat down. Of course, the players haven't seen that, but he's played a lot of hands, and they haven't all gone to showdown. So some percentage of the time in the decision tree of life, this player will be very aggressive and, you know, have had like a lot of loose and speculative hands, as we've seen. So you always want to leave that option open that they do have some bluffs in their range, and check and let them, you know, actually pull the trigger with those. Because now that you hit your flop, you are in a really good position. And of course, SPR is in a spot where he's probably just going to jam himself when he bets. Probably just going to jam himself when he bets. So you're really not losing out on any value either. So I like check a lot better than jam here. I can see why Brant went for this option. It's just like such a safe flop for him at this point. Like, it's basically as good as he's going to get without flopping a jack. So he's just like, all right, now, man, I'm not going to let him check back and get like a whatever. But like, I wouldn't worry about that with this guy right here. I think this guy right here in the Adidas, he's going to probably jam it in. So you're going to get that value either way. Like, don't give him the chance to fold here. You know, if I remember correctly, I actually think Richard tank calls, but don't give him the chance to fold. You know, here, let's skip through. No, he doesn't. He does fold. He does fold. I lied. I forgot again. But, you know, nice hand to Brant. But yeah, if you check there, bro, you might get the whole enchilada. I mean, sure, yes, he might check back and you might get turned, but he's only got 6 outs to do that, 12% equity, you know, versus the amount of times that you can just check and snap him off. OMC with the KK now. All right, raises up to $30. We got a limp on the first position with the ace-8 suited. Richards with the king-7 offsuit. Is he going to speculate? Wow, he really is in it tonight. He is in it tonight. 6BB, don't care. And, ooh, unknown also in with the ace-8 suited. Definitely not going to let herself get bullied off of this hand. And she flops with a nut flush draw on a queen 8-3 2-club board. OMC is going to c-bet 65. Richard is, I mean, he's just going to think better of the situation here. And the unknown is going to flat. Now, on a brick turn, this gets pretty dicey because she's gonna check. I'm sure OMC's gonna bet big, and she's probably gonna have to. Oh wait, he just picked up. Unless he picks up, but yeah, I was gonna say put a white chip on that, bro. Because if you only put like 60 out there, that's like a terrible bet size. He bets like 150, and she looks like she snap calls. Didn't even consider folding, not even for half of a second. Which it's like not like she should necessarily, but it's a pretty, it's a weak way to play that hand. I think like check raise all in is almost better than just like check call. Is she gonna donk the river? No, she wanted to, bro. She wanted to. She almost did. Look at her right hand. Wow, she really almost donked the river. I think she might realize two things. One, she doesn't really have enough to get him to fold, and two, he's like he's a really sticky player. So like if he has any queen, any 10, he might not fold. Shows Brian her hand. It says why no club. All right, a whole bunch of nothing mixed in here, but Brant does have a JJ on the button. Oh, never mind. Oscar's got the 7-7, so we are going to see a flop here. Unknown with the ace-8 offsuit going to fold, and Oscar, I'm sure, is going to peel. 8BB or not, it don't matter. Brant applying the pressure right there. Unknown flatted with the ace-8 offsuit? Wow. Maybe a little tilted, but got there on this flop. Check call from Oscar as well. Very speculative. I guess the heart is doing a lot of heavy lifting in his hand there. And Brant rivers the set ski. He should go for value there, though. Low-key. That's like a really easy spot to bet for value. That's like the most easy bet fold at these limits against these two players. Like the easiest bet fold. Especially because like Oscar is like a bet when he hits type player. So like when he hits that queen there, he's gonna bet. Like when he has queen X in his hand and he hits the Broadway on the river, he's gonna bet. Unknown lady, like probably the same. Probably not gonna risk it checking through. So when they check to you, bro, on that river, like you're good 95% of the time. And that 5% of the time when you bet and they click it back at you, just fold. It's fine. It's all good. Like they're not raising you with ace-5 or ace-10, and they're not bluffing you either. So it's all good. You can just bet fold there. On the river, you got pot of 220, bro. You gotta go at like around 120, 110, 120 would be nice, just because it looks like kind of bluffy. Like you can conceivably be betting there with nothing, trying to represent the 4 in a the 4 liner. So having actual value there and being in a situation where you could be red as loose is a really great spot to go for a value bet. So pretty big missed opportunity from Brant, actually, honestly. It's all good. All right, Oscar with the OMC with the AQO. Wow. And then Mike in there with a couple of ducks, couple of deuces. Richard, wait, did everyone just call? No raises? OMC, where's your raise, homie? Where's your raise? Unknown with the mystery hand. 10-8-3 flop, 10 on the turn. Nobody's got a 10 from what we can see. OMC now decides to bet the turn $15, which is kind of like respectable, honestly. Like they probably have the best high card hand if everyone's just got high cards. 7x on the river is going to mean good for OMC with the ace queen high. But yeah, very weird not raise pre-flop given how aggressive this game has been in so many different points. All right, Unknown's got the king jack suited. We'll definitely see her play this hand. And Oscar has the 3-3. Mike with the 10-10. So nobody raise up out of the BB. Mike's going to call. Oscar's going to 3-bet the 3-3? Wow. And that's crazy, too. He doesn't jam either. He just goes like, he goes from, what was it, 25 to 125? That's kind of wild, bro. Very interesting 3-bet because, like, if they call, like, every flop sucks. Every flop sucks. I think it goes, okay, so nobody actually calls here, and Mike's going to let it go. Wow. I would have expected a call there from Mike, but I guess Oscar is representing a pretty big hand. Nobody with the monster draw, the absolute monster draw. Mike would have flopped middle set. Let's see how this plays out. Oh, it's probably not going to play out because Oscar is going to probably fold. Because, like, once again, like 90% of boards, 95% of boards, you're not going to be able to continue on. Mike's shaking his head. Mike is shaking his head. I did not know. And see, once again, it's so crazy, like, playing in these games and seeing things, like, in real time as well. But Mike is definitely a little bit tilted there after that. I mean, who wouldn't be? Is only, not only, but it's $100 more. You don't know your opponent's range, so you might feel like he's just, like, it's a little too tight right there for his 3-betting size. I mean, who the hell puts him on 3-3? Play back this real quick, especially 3-3 in my hand, I just want to say. But I want to finish up with that thought about Mike, is that, you just don't know. It's like when you kind of see, like, the opportunity unfold in front of you, it can definitely be just as tilting as losing the hand because it feels like missed money. But he doesn't know either that he was up against a monster combo draw and could easily have lost that hand there. Like, Unknown Lady was going nowhere, and she had diamonds and open-ended straight draw. So, truth be told, like, really not even that big of a missed opportunity because he wasn't going to make nothing against Oscar, and he was going to only be flipping, basically, like a weighted coin flip, like slightly in his favor against the Unknown. So really it was like in the end not a big deal, but it looks like in your mind, feels like in your mind a really big deal. Now, what was the action here? Why did I fold the 3-3? I think people just made it too much in front of me because we've got a healthy stack. He raised the 15. Okay. Oh, never mind. Okay. Yep, I remember this. And then unknown lady makes it 50, which is just like she just didn't have enough in her stack to warrant me calling her. And Richard was also really short at this time too, so it's like jamming here is better than calling for me. But I think in a very similar respect to like folding 10-10 the previous hand from Mike, I'm going to fold that hand there, knowing that I don't really have a whole lot of set mining value against shorter stacks like that. And Mike is out. GG to him. And it's always good to let yourself leave when you know you're not feeling 100%, or like call it not even 100%, but like, you know, because no one's ever really feeling 100%. But when you're feeling like bad, call it. We go check. Oscar with the hidden nut flush, just chilling. Nice. He's gonna bet, and it looks like take it down. Unfortunate for him. That's always a bummer too, man. Just like when you fold a hand that would have been the likely winner, getting a monster hand like that, the nut flush, and then just getting zero action is always really similarly tilting, because it just feels like missed opportunity, you know? It feels like I could have easily won here if just like one card was off on, say, like someone's hand or the board or this or that. You know, like why couldn't that have given them a weak 2 pair instead of just 1 pair and crappy kicker? Scar with the KJ0 flopping top 2 pair on KJ7 flush draw board. Richard with the top pair, no kicker, and then Brant with the nod is going to get out of there, but it's going to go bet call. Oscar's going to slow play his top 2 on a very, very draw heavy board. Richard's going to be like reasonably value betting his hand too, you know? I mean, he probably thinks he's good here, and he's, I mean, in a weird way, his 2 pair is like, that's a weird, okay, hold on a second real quick. His 2 pair is kind of negligible against Richard's hand, because Richard, if he's out kicked, he's out kicked. You know, it just means that he can't hit a deuce to beat him now. He's, you know, effectively just drawing dead. So I guess that is a pretty big difference, but like the equity that you have with that deuce is very, very small. But the flush comes in, Oscar check raises, and Richard calls. That's probably a tilt call, bro. That's probably a tilt call. Richard seems like a much better player than that call indicates. I would love to say, oh no. And he probably thinks he got there. And that's I mean, it didn't lose him any extra money, but maybe like a little bit of emotional damage, you know? All right, dealer change, bomb pot, skip through. All right, JJ is in the mix now. I actually recall, well, first things first, JJ's an awesome dude. Shout out to JJ taking Mike's seat. He's cool, his wife's cool, and I met his son once too. Also very cool dude, so very cool family. Played with JJ a lot up in the double board bomb pot games, as well as just like the normal 2-3 game, which I'm actually gonna probably start making some vlogs of, given that I now have my media pass. My media pass has been like largely wasted so far, given that I mostly have been playing on the stream since getting it. In fact, I've actually only played on the stream when I play at Lucky Lady since getting it, which is really the only casino I play at. So I would like to start making more, like, it'll be slightly smaller stakes, like probably 2-3 500 cap instead of 2-3 5 800 cap, which is what we would normally play, or like 2-3 5 1,000 cap on the private games. But we will, I would like to bring you guys a little bit more, you know, like actually at the table stuff. But I played with JJ at the actual tables a lot, not necessarily just in the gold room. Cool dude, has a bit of gamble to him, you know, for sure. He's definitely not like the tightest player, and you guys have, I think, seen him and that on stream already if you've watched any of my previous episodes. But yeah, I will actually be leaving personally from the video. I will be staying here and of course finishing the stream with you guys, but my feature portion of the show will be coming to a conclusion very shortly. I don't recall myself getting into any more really like sizable hands or anything of that nature. This was probably the best that I've done on the stream so far in terms of like the biggest stack that I was able to acquire, and just like the best that I was able to run, even though I had a bit of like unfortunate variance in the very beginning with like, you know, not necessarily unfortunate variance, but like, you know, 9-9-7 board, like aggressive player check raises me and I feel like I have to call with a pair of sevens, even though I'm kind of drawing dead. And then the same player rivers the set against me. But, you know, like we did kind of like quote unquote get it back from them, which is great. But yeah, it's those sessions where you win all those hands, but without having to quote unquote, but, you know, get it back, where you like you don't ever have that negative portion of variance. And I feel like I haven't had a smooth session at the Lucky Lady really ever, low-key. All my sessions involve like ups, downs. Like sometimes it's just more ups than downs, which is what today was. But a lot of times it's just like I kind of break even, because it's like I just feel like I get neutral variance, then a lot of positive, then a lot of negative, or in whatever order it can be. But I'm still kind of waiting for that day where I just run like the sun, you know? We'll get one good one. But this was definitely the closest I've come to the sun, we'll say. This is the closest I've come to this one. All right, we got 5 players in the mix. Jack, Jack, 8 board. I consider this like being a decent flop for me, but I don't bet. I guess I don't bet. No, do I bet the turn? Yeah, I bet the turn. After everyone checks again, it's like easy turn bet. Brant is gonna slow play his 8x here, and I'm just gonna get snapped off. Unknown's got the queen, high, FD. We all check it down. Brent's got the 8, takes the pot away. All right, whole lot of garbanzo beans in this mix here. Playing a small pot. Looks like I'm not gonna waste everyone's time with that. I've got a ace 7 suited, and for some reason I limp in the +1. Did JJ limp? Yeah, JJ limped. I over limped. I was like, I don't feel like I open limped. I should probably just raise here, but I think I was just kind of like mentally winding down. I was like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna like play another orbit, and then maybe when I decide that I'm done, I kind of just like mentally wrap it up, play a few more hands, maybe an orbit or two, and then just kind of bounce. Because I don't like once you decide you're done, for me at least, the stack that I'm at right now is the stack that I'm also done with, So to gamble more and to play more poker is going to mean that stack is what do you call it? Going to go up or down, and I'm not looking to do that right now. And as you can see, I literally rack up the very next hand. Like that's how done I was. To over limp a7 suited and then fold it to like a single raise of just like 6 BB when there's like plenty of equity in the pot means mentally I'm checked out. Whereas like in a normal situation, like that's just an ISO myself. Like this is like a 4 BB open when JJ limps himself. That's just a 4x open standard. You'll see a lot of that kind of stuff from me on stream, like not only some from previous episodes, but like in the future, just like giving y'all heads up. The way that I play online that you've seen from me, like in my videos and such, is decently different than the way that I play live because there's just so much more energy live. Like kind of consider that like this is like hour like 5 for me right now, but that's like after driving in traffic, you kind of like make sure you're like in the game, you text people this and that. Like there's just like more meta. You're sitting in the room for so long as well. There's just so much more energy going on versus playing like an hour session that you just kind of like record. So good game to me. I was very happy to have not faced too much negative variance and mostly positive. Once again, this was probably my best run on the stream so far. Looks like we got a flip from John and Richard. John's gonna river the J on the first board, and Richard will he will take the second one. That's always a painful feeling too when you have the flop. You hit the ace in the window, good to go, and then that just J-bone steals it. Whereas like you were so close to scooping. I do my traditional round of fist bumps and bounce on out of there. Unknown lady right now is asking me for more unicorns, to which I can easily oblige. I've acquired several unicorns in the last week simply for her, and shout out to Max. Max requested, he said that his wife wanted some unicorns, so I got some for them as well. He was happy with that. But yeah, shout out to her and all of the dope regulars at the Lucky Lady. It's honestly quite a pleasure being associated with and invited to and able to play in these games. Even though sometimes when I'm like in the trenches, especially going through the negative variance times, you may even see it on my face. Like I'm not always having a good time in the moment, but overall, this is always a good time. I don't know how to put it any other way. It's like I've never once looked back, after like a good night's sleep and been like, oh man, like I shouldn't have done that at any point. Like I shouldn't have gone there. I shouldn't have played there. It's always just like, sometimes in the moment you're a human and you just don't feel amazing about like the way that poker is going. There was definitely a little bit of that earlier today. That's kind of what I'm talking about too. There was definitely a little bit of that earlier today. I was like, God dang. Quick little like preview. I started today so hot. My hottest 5-minute stretch ever. And then it was all downhill from there. So just like super upstuck. Top tier annoyed. All right, Oscar, switch seats and won a hand. Look at that. We're already in a different mojo. So we've got a little mix up here. As soon as I left, wow, the fish left and now everyone had to reposition. So Richard took my seat, and he ditched his seat, which was not like doing great for him. He saw I cashed out a good stack, so I was like, all right, man, let's take that one. So he's in the 4 seat now. Oscar is in the 9, and a new player is in the 5. So we got a really nice refresh in the mix-up. It's actually kind of cool that as soon as I leave, from me right here now doing this, I get to kind of commentate on something that's almost like a little different than what we were just watching. So awesome. Like this is like the exact refresh that I need personally to get me through this last hour and 20 minutes of raw footage. So it looks like we went 4 ways to the flop. I just want to see how we got there real quick. So Richard raised to 20 with Queen 3 suited, man. He's just loose. Am I gonna say bass or base? Damn, bro. I'm gonna say base because bastard sounds weird to me. We're gonna go base. Sorry, B, if I'm saying the wrong name to you, bro. But the seat 5 base is going to also call with the king jack offsuit. It goes check check queen 9 from unknown and the flop of 10-9-5. It's going to go bet from base and unknown's going to call. And now is he going to double barrel here? No, he's not. I was going to say that'd be an extremely aggressive double barrel on that board texture. She is going to bet out 55 for protection, very accurately reading the situation, but not necessarily charging a price that's going to deter the type of hand that he has from calling like king jack, king queen, queen jack type hands. And is base going to lead the river as a bluff? It looks like he's sizing up. It looks like he's sizing up. Hands are shaky. This is so there's a I forget who mentioned it. Damn it, bro. I'd love to give credit right now, but I was watching someone who was talking about betting in like the actual cadence live poker, of course, and like how you move your chips and this and that. And they basically had two terms that I've like stuck in my head since then, which is a rough bet and a smooth bet. This is a very rough bet by him just because of like the way that he handles his chips. Like it starts off okay, but then the way he like picks up his whites, he kind of like starts fumbling 1, 2, flips it around, picks up that. So this is like a scale of rough to smooth, like, you know, smooth being 10, rough being 0. I would give that like a 4, you know? So he leads out on the river though, and I think the bet itself is going to take it down. Very, very nice play. I know I said that after the results occurred, but that was what was building up my brain anyway. Like I just didn't see Unknown Lady calling down with third pair there. Like she's been playing really conservative this whole session. It just didn't seem like her MO. Very nice hand from base to start off the session. That was a very I'll shout out my man Bruce Lee. That was a very Bruce Lee type bet there, man. Like, you know, try to get there with your draw, but then you see like a nice bluff card on the river and just go for it. Just was playing in Bruce Lee's and Super Eddie's game earlier today. So shout out to the homies. Shout out to the homies. We got 4 ways here on an ace, jack, jack, 2-tone board. Oscar in with the medium-sized flush draw. Nobody in with the ace, and the turn jack is going to kill this hand, but it doesn't. Oscar bets the turn with his broken down flush. It's almost like in a weird way that your hand got counterfeited, you know? Because like now your flush draw is like complete garbage. I mean, paired board, you could have been drawing dead from the get-go, but now you are like really not looking good. How does he have 2% equity? How does Oscar have 2% equity right now? Can someone tell me this? Like in what world? Okay, so sorry, he bet and then she min raised. That's great, but like, how does he have 2% equity? Like, what card? Oh, river ace. No, river jack chop. River jack chop. Okay, that makes sense. River jack chop. I'm like, what does he ever win with here? I'm always forgetting the chop outs. River jack will negate nobody's pair of aces and give them both quads with an ace kicker. Oh, the deep game of even 2-card poker and how many outcomes we can possibly have. Shout out to the masseuse. I'm going to probably be wrong here, but like my brain is telling me Teresa. I feel like I've heard people say her name. I'm sure she introduced herself when we first met, but that was like almost a year ago now. What's today's date? Wow, I actually moved back to California over a year ago, but I don't think I went to the Lucky Lady with it. It took me like a few months to actually make my way down here, so I have not been playing here for a full year yet. But yeah, it was a while ago when we met is all I'm really getting at, but she is a super nice person as well. Nobody in here with the bottomist-ish, no, sorry, second to bottom pair. And OMC is going to bet river, take it down. Like I said, she hasn't been calling down with these types of hands. That's why against that river donk from base, I did not expect her to kind of like, you know, go for it. Go for the hero call. All right, Oscar with the 4-4 in the straddle spot is very nice, but base is, with the 10-10. For some reason, I saw 10-5 at first. With the 10-10 on the button, going to raise up to 35, 3.5x, very solid raise size. Always interesting to see what people raise to. Some people like overdo it. They raise to like 50 there. Some people underdo it. They raise to like 20 there. But yeah, let's see. We go 3 ways, and base is still in the lead on an ace jack 9 board, and they turn a set. What a beautiful life. Beautiful life. JJ going to bet out with his open-ended straight draw, and base is going to raise it up. Beautiful play from base, and not even a bad play from JJ, who's going to call with the open ender. Now, if he can turn his hand into a bluff, which is already, you know, a bluff on club rivers, just like how base did before with the ace, he could actually make this a relatively profitable call. Okay, so say if he calls here and he open jams like everything that he connects with and everything that his range connects with, this is actually a pretty tough spot for base despite having just turned trips. Let's see how this river plays out. River king of clubs. JJ, now this is like, damn, bro, I wanted to see one or the other. I didn't want to see both. But dude, if that was a non-king club and he opened jams, that would have been so sick. And I really don't put it past JJ. I think he actually could pull that play off. So what I just say though, like, even though he turns that, it's gonna be a tough hand to win, given that exact board composition. Tough one for base just sitting down, getting a little bit of a bad beat on their end. Not really. They didn't raise super big, so he was offering a pretty good price. If JJ had bet a smaller amount, he actually probably would have gotten adequate value for his efforts. I think open jamming on the king of clubs is like actually the worst card because A, you hit, and then B, you got your scare card at the same time. It's like that's tough. That's tough because you want to be bluffing there when you have, of course, nothing. So with just the raw club, or you want just that king to hit, and you actually have the chance to bet for value without getting your opponent scared away by the clubs coming into. It's kind of an unfortunate spot when JJ hits like that because there's only I guess there's two cards that hit like that for him. All right, JJ again with the 8/8, gonna raise it up to $20 from the +2 position. Pretty old school to call it +2. Not gonna lie, that's a middle position, sir, or the low jack, or whatever the hell you want to call it in 2026. +2 is like super old school. All right, going to the turn, base with the ace high. Not sure why he's selling this hand. So you got like some ill intentions or something. I'm not sure. Richard topping off in an interesting manner via kind of like cash, like $100 at a time. No, knowing that you like to be a top off player, like I am, that's why I always go to the cage and get like. Recently, I've been getting 1,100 to come into the room with, and that's like 2 racks of yellow and 1 rack of blue because I like having my blinds and tips and stuff like ready. I don't want the dealer to have to make change for me, and then I always have at least a few white chips in my pocket, you know, so that takes care of your reloads. Like, you know, if you have like some extra white chips too, it's even better. So you can kind of have like your big reloads, and then you can kind of like auto top off with your yellow chips, like your other rack. It's pretty nice. So I'd recommend people kind of do that instead of like going $100 at a time. Just easier that way. You can reach yourself. You don't have to bother anybody. You got a 2 pair here from Richard, but OMC is going to fold his nothing. Straddle, double straddle. Nice. We've got some action from the 2, I don't know how to word it. I was going to say the 2 white shirts, but really Richard's wearing more of like a jacket, tracksuit kind of jacket. I actually like Richard's jacket a lot. It's just pretty sweet. Reminds me of like Russian mobsters, Italian, any kind of anyone just like walking around casually like that. I feel like it's in a position of power. Plus 142 for Richard with the king high versus the worst king high from JJ. Very nice answer. Everyone stayed pretty late, man. Brent stayed pretty late. What's his name? Angel stayed pretty late. OMC, John, they all started the game with me. So shout out to the grinders. If I didn't have the little doggy, my little beautiful baby, then I would have stayed there with him as well. I just would take I would take more breaks and I would pace myself for longer sessions. You know, I'm used to playing about 8, 9, 10 hours or so is like fine for me. But with the dog, it's like I can't go more than 6. I feel really bad leaving her at home. Base turned it. Nobody's betting into it with the bottom pair. Very, very interesting for her. Number 6. Check. All right. Really? John just folds 3-3 from early position. Must be a relatively studied player because that is a super solver approved fold. But like you don't ever see people in live poker making that fold, bro. That's like a really common limp and or small raise. But the fold that is like, no, what position was he? +2. That actually probably is a fold in this composition. Like if you ask the solver, given like the way that now that's against GTO opponents though. All right. If you node lock to how everyone's playing, I don't think it's a fold. I think that a lot of pocket pairs are plays just simply due to the fact of like the huge value you can get from him. He's 1.4k effective with OMC. Maybe not with Angel. Probably not going to get too much out of him. Brant, he could probably trap if he not trap necessarily, but like extract value if he hits like a good top pair with a better hand. Same with JJ. Richard's like on tilt probably. So base seems like a aggressive player, but he doesn't necessarily know that yet. But I think there is some value in playing the 3-3 here. But yeah, solver would probably fold it in a lot of spots. It does not like small pairs like that, especially in earlier positions. They are a little deeper though. That's like kind of what I'm really getting at. I think that he's free to play it. Do not think comp wise he's making a mistake. It does turn out that he makes a good fold and that he would have gotten a pretty dangerous board for him with OMC flopping like a better small pair. It's just like very innocuous, hard to kind of put someone on a hand like this. They could easily have a flush draw when they start betting. They could have a deuce. Base with 2 spade flushes in a row. Good for you, sir. So wild too, man. You can have 2 suited cards that don't hit flushes for like 10 hours straight, and then you can hit 2 flushes in a row. All right. John's going to raise up in the +1 position with Queen Jack offsuit. That is a hand that plays better multi-way. But like, I mean, I guess is it really though? Because like 3-3 is kind of a way better hand to play multi-way. Because either you bang that flop or you don't. Where Queen Jack, like half the time you're not going to know where the hell you are. Especially if you raise and get like a bunch of callers. I mean, now John raises pretty big though. I don't know if I've mentioned this or talked about this, but like his open raise sizes are like above average. He's going like 5 to 6 to 7x open like consistently. I've never seen him open. What's funny? I've seen him open raise under 5BB one time, and he was out of position. And I'm like, bro, this is the one time you should be raising big. But it was really interesting to kind of like note that his strategy in particular is very large raises. So he is going. What I'm bringing this up is he is going to filter out a lot more hands than me, dude. I'm usually raising 3x in that position. Usually raising 3x, and I do usually get about 7 callers. So it's like. I understand why he sizes up, and I have been considering going like larger in other spots. I actually realized earlier today I kind of had like a moment where it's like, bro, there's some spots too where like if I start overbetting the flop and jamming the turn and like turning a lot of these 3 street hands into 2 street hands, the way that these people play, calling like they peel a lot of flops, and then you can just kind of put people in like tough positions on the turn with like your good hands, your draws, your this or that. So like there's a lot of merit to raising bigger, betting bigger, not necessarily going like the quote unquote solver sizes, which are just like, raising smaller, betting like betting 1/3, and this and that. In a lot of spots are just going to get looked up super light. You're not going to know where you are necessarily, or you might get played back at a relatively appropriate rate, given some players are pretty aggressive in these games. But you're just going to like mainly let like a lot of BS in like 4 or 5 ways post flop. So the big raise is actually really nice. When you do get to this board of Jack 9 deuce, you are still a bit in no man's land. I'm not going to lie, because now while you did filter out a lot of BS, that means that there's more King Jack, Ace Jack type hands out there than would be otherwise percentage wise, because now you've taken away like the weaker jacks and like the stuff that might just have like no equity or like very low equity right now. Say like we've already said weaker jacks, but I say like 9x, or just like deuce 5 or just deuce 4, just like some random hand that you may get to call you here on like a half pot c bet. Now that range that you're betting into the field is going to be much stronger. So it's kind of like pick your poison type situation. Do you want to go 6 ways with weak ranges, or do you want to go 3 ways with tighter ranges? He opts to go tighter ranges. He is going to c-bet his good top pair, which is good, and he's going pretty big. And Oscar's going to call the 120 c-bet. Wow, it's a big c-bet, I feel like. Right? Yeah. He bet full pot. That's a full pot c-bet. So he bets full pot. Oscar calls, and that's what I'm saying. Like betting full pot or overbetting flop, and then just like jamming turn. Like sometimes, like exactly what I just said. That's crazy too. That Oscar proves my point like immediately in these games against some people. Wow. And what's his name? Base folds the the worst queen. What a great fold. What a great fold. Like he's representing a hand, John is better than that, but it still takes discipline to fold that in the moment. To call the hand and then fold top pair on the flop, it feels super weak. Now, of course, he's going to jam on that turn. Of course, they're getting in on that turn. They're going to go twice. I'm rooting for John in this one. Just because it's like, man, Oscar, that's a really speculative flop call. Really speculative flop call. Very, very nice hand from John, showing the power of the big raises in games like this. While the raises are going to filter out, like this is like the real balancing act of all of poker, really. But like the raise size that he chooses, while it may be like 2x my raise size, he will not get called by 0.5 the combos of hands that people are going to have. He's going to probably get called by like 0.8, 0.9. Some people are just like, they are so inelastic that they really put in so much money with such weak ranges that their ego truly does drive the way that they play the game. So John here demonstrating how powerful big bets and big raise sizes can be. And I was definitely thinking about that independently earlier myself, but he is always exemplifying that. So once again, shout out to him. Good hand. Bro, I felt so bad, man. I got so lucky against him the other day. So lucky against him. And I've gotten pretty lucky. I've actually gotten low-key mad lucky against John. Mad lucky. So like I felt like actually really bad when I got like this lucky the other day. Because like I'd already gotten once. He's by far the player who I've gotten the luckiest on stream and or at the Lucky Lady. So I feel bad when it's like all kind of piled against one person. We got Base versus Richard on the end here with a little bit of a what do you call it? A battle of the second pairs. Kickers are going to play, though. Big-ish pot for the hand played. What did Base said he had a flush? I guess these cards were not accurate. Sorry, y'all. Well, luckily I didn't really talk about the hand anyway. Jenny coming in with the sandwiches. There are not many sweeter sights in the poker room than when your sandwich gets there. John with the ace. Ace now, let's see how he plays it out. Gonna probably raise huge. 45, 50, 100, $1,000, 80. Opens to 80. Everyone limps to him, and he tries to make it look like he's stealing, goes with the 80. I think that's gonna get through, though. Nobody calls with the king queen? Dude, that's wild, bro. That's genuinely wild. Like, I don't know what goes through some people's heads, but like, ma'am, if you ever come across my videos, there's like no reason to open limp and then call 16 big blinds. You can just raise yourself. If you're willing to put in 16 big blinds before the flop, put in 4 of them as an open raise. Put in 2 of them. Just put in 2 of them at least as an open raise. But like limp calling 16 big blinds is like top tier fish play. I know that you have king queen, it's a decent hand, but like you just can't play that way. It's just bad. It's just genuinely bad. Like limp calling 5, 6, 7 BB against aggressive players, this and that, like that's one thing. John's checking on seconds. You gonna bet small, jam, or pot? I think he's probably gonna go small. No, he goes pot. Okay, he goes pot. He just never bets small, does he, man? I think small is so good there, though. Bet small. Let her try to continue with like some BS. You got that board not on lock, but like you're never going anywhere with that SPR. So it's like try to really like the hands that have good equity against you. Who cares? They're not going anywhere anyway. You really want to try and focus those in those spots about the hands that have like 10, 20% equity. And, you know, you offer them like 4, 5 to 1. Ideally they won't have like 10% equity. You can offer them like 5 to 1. Like that's like a nice little value that you can get for yourself. But a lot of people I notice play like almost a little too aggressively with their really, really big hands, especially on the boards and the stack to pot ratios that kind of like work best for them. Dang, Unknown is getting a little hammered here at the end. The deck is not treating her properly. Unfortunate to see. You always want to see the luck kind of divvied up, not equally, but it's always nice to see everyone hit like a little something. All right, Richard coming in big now with the ace-king offsuit, raising to 45 over the OMC Strata, who has ace-3 suited. He's not going nowhere. Base comes along with the jack-9 offsuit from the hijack. That's a pretty speculative call. Brant with the jack-10 suited from the cutoff. That's a much more reasonable call. And then OMC does, of course, complete with his suited wheel card. Wow, and he flops big. We've got diamonds, overcard, backdoor straight draw. Brant's got the backdoor straight flush draw. Base has a little bit of a gut shot, or sorry, backdoor straight draw as well with the kind of the gut shot action. Richard's gonna c-bet here. Wow, such an aggressive c-bet, Richard. OMC is not going anywhere. He's gonna call. Okay, such an aggressive c-bet, bro. Queen high boards favor the caller, not the raiser, almost always. Check by OMC, and then Richard also checks back. Wow, and Richard somehow has the best hand here. Is OMC gonna bluff though? OMC is definitely a bluffer. He's got it in him, and it looks like value too. What a beautiful bet. And Richard snaps it off. Wow. Holy cow. What a beautiful call, honestly. Because he really sized that to look like value. That was actually really cool by both players, honestly. Like, good bet by OMC. I really thought that he was actually going to get that through. But Richard's a pretty sticky player, so guess not. Guess not, but really nice hand by both players, honestly. I genuinely think that his small sizing there like has just as much of an effect as like up to and including like slight over bets. Like he could probably be 110 there, and he's going to get a really similar fold rate and elasticity as like that B33 sizing. AKA Richard's not folding for full pot there probably. If he's going to call that as quickly as he did, he's probably not folding for full pot. He's probably going to read it the same way, if not weaker. Base with the trips, Richard with the very, very weak ace. I'm sorry. JJ's going to bet the 5-5. Richard's going to raise to 100. Base is going to check his cards to make sure that he really does have the whole world in his hands. He's playing Omaha right now while everyone else is playing Hold'em. And he's going to jam, which is this is exactly what I was just talking about, y'all, man. People play their hands too aggressively. Why are you playing your value so aggro? Okay, first of all, your king is not that good if the other homie calls. Like when you're called there, say Richard Snap calls, your heart is going to drop into your stomach, bro. Guaranteed. You're not going to feel good if Richard Snap calls you there, okay? You're going to feel like, shit, I probably need to hit an 8 or a spade, honestly. So why not just call, let Richard continue his bluffs. You have backdoor equity, you have, a draw to go off of. It's not just King 8 offsuit type of situation. And if he does have ace X, do you really think he's calling a jam right there? I mean, I think people get like too excited, like legitimately too excited. They get too, that's almost like if you were to put a situational definition in a dictionary to go with a vocabulary word, jamming with a big hand like that, playing in like a Texas bet style of like big hand all in, I gotta go right now. That is the definition of being overzealous. Like, contain your zeal, folks. Be zealous. Don't be overzealous. In fact, consider being underzealous at times. It is a very rare attribute to have, but having full control over your zeal is a very important element of your poker game. I think it's a really funny word. That's why I used it like 7 times right there. And because people don't talk about zeal, they only talk about being overzealous. That's like the one variant of the word that gets used. So let's have a little vocab time, y'all. But yeah, you want to like, it really in honest, like just to break it really down into poker theory / terms, it's just a matter of understanding the situation from like a range perspective. Like, what is their range right there, and what are they willing to call when you put in a 3-bet like that? It's just not. Yeah, it's a 3-bet. It's a turn 3-bet jam. Is he bouncing? Weird. Anyway, good game base. Don't jam next time. I didn't come. I want to talk about this hand pre-flop. All right, so we got a 3-bet from Oscar via who 3-bet or sorry, who raised initially? Nobody raised. Got it. She raised from the button too. Man, she's getting crushed right now. Is she gonna call? She's a little sticky too, though, huh? You don't have to be in there like that. You can just fold the king queen offsuit. It's a pretty big 3-bet. You haven't been playing very aggressively. Look, dude, come on, bro. Why are you doing this bluff? You guys are killing me today. Everyone is bluffing with the nuts. Y'all don't gotta be bluffing with the nuts. This is like the 4th hand in the last hour where y'all are bluffing with the nuts. This is crazy, dude. This is crazy. This video is turning into a bit of a strategy lesson that I never intended I would be throwing out there on these. Like, this is more of like just trying to cover the stream. But man, some of these plays are like actually killing me because these guys are throwing all their value away by just being so over the top with it. Well, that is it's just disappointing to see because you get those hands so rarely, bro. All right. How do we even get here? I'm sorry. I'm all twisted. All right. OMC is going to open up on the button. 10-5 offsuit. Very standard from him. Brandt's going to defend with a 10-6 offsuit. Very unstandard from him. And then Angel's going to come along with the ace-8 suited on Brandt for him. Flop of ace-9-7 rainbow. We've got a gut shot for Brandt with the 8 that Angel holds, and OMC is sitting with a little nada. Does Brandt donk out, or did Angel donk out? Who donked out, man? Someone donked out, man. I do not like the donk, bro. This is literally... I seriously can't see what happened, bro. I'm sorry. Okay, so Angel must have been the donk. Got it. Dude, that's... Okay, now you gotta watch my video, bro. Not good. Not good for a big reason. It's exactly what I've just been talking about, man. It's people who are being too aggressive with their good hands, but this is just like a smaller pot / less impactful variant of that. But yeah, you definitely do not want to be leading there. Your ace is easily beatable by other ace-x hands. So you want to when you are behind, you only want to lose like, 1 street of value, 2 street of value ideally, not 3 streets. When you lead out, you're almost guaranteeing that you're going to lose 3 streets of value. So don't do that. And then most importantly, OMC has been playing aggressively. You look at the hand that they raised with, I know I can see, but we all were watching and they played aggressively. They were not folding a lot and they were c-betting. So like they easily could have just continuation there with a lot of hands that you can get value from. So like don't steal the bluff from somebody else when you've got value, that's the time to call down. And that's also how you protect your checks. Like I don't think people realize this at all, bro. But like if you're betting when you hit, every time you check, your shit is so much weaker than if you didn't check. Your ranges are so much weaker if you're only ever betting out and then checking with check raises and check folds. Like you gotta have a lot of solid check calls in there to really make people question if they can just bet freely against you. All right, this game is dying down, winding down. Brandt is out. Angel is out. JJ with the AK is going to take a small pot. We are down to 1, 2, 3, 4-handed. I think is no, unknown lady is her stack is still there. What's left of it, but she is not there. So assume that she is going to be done soon as well. It's kind of like how that goes. But we do have some 4-handed action for what looks like at least for 35 minutes. And these are some aggressive players, but just with OMC and Richard alone, OMC, Richard, Oscar, and JJ, I could watch this for hours, bro. I'm sure that if they were willing to play for hours, I'm sure we could have a really, really aggressive game for hours. If this is a game too where everyone has like deep pockets and they're all willing to rebuy and reload, like the stacks could get really crazy too. This is when you get like, 2,000-3,000 BB stacks. Richard with the 7 deuce just showing that he can. Once you get down to 4-handed like this, it's almost like the game is kind of reset in its own way. Oh, is JJ bouncing? Yeah, JJ doesn't strike me as a short-handed player, like someone who would really want to play a lot of short-handed. So I'm not completely surprised by this whatsoever. Shout out to JJ. You can see he's packing up some kitty trinkets. The kitties are definitely his favorite. You know what I might give him? I might give him one of my I got my rock cats as well. I got my rock cats. He's definitely one of the people who would appreciate that the most. Also, like, where's Jack been, bro? I want to give Jack one of those too. Not the Jack who you guys have seen on stream recently. Other Jack. You saw him on my very first cut and call that I was on, actually. Very first cut and call that I was on. He was the dude who let me see one of his cards for free, basically. So I definitely owe him. All right, looks like they are still sitting but not playing. I will skip back to when the action starts. Here we are. Oh, we got a new player who joined. Okay. A little fresh blood to finish off the night. A little 5-handed action. Okay. So we've got Unknown is back in and new player. We've got a heads up pot here. Richard versus Oscar. Top pair versus just the second nut straight. Oscar is going to actually raise the flop, and Richard's going to give him action immediately. Like, doesn't question it, and he turns 2-pair with the Robbie, but they don't get all in somehow. Do they, what? How does the betting go? Does it go check, check, or check? What? How is this pot so small? Bro, how did that pot not get all in by the, what? Did he check back the turn after raising the flop? Oscar, that's a very weird play, bro. And then they just check back the river? Some baffling plays on this stream today. All right, new player, JC, coming in with the Jack. Look at that. Must be nice, my friend. Get a premium right off the rip, literally first hand in. Oscar with a 9-9 to defend as well. Now, ace-high board, that's going to slow everybody down. Probably going to go, when Richard also over-defended, going to lead the turn for 25. JC is going to look him up one time minimum. Oscar's going to come along too, bro. Come on, bro. You got to at least fold a little bit here and there. Too many peels with hands like that from Oscar. It disappoints me. Because he actually, I've seen him play. I've actually played with him a decent bit since this stream. He can play pretty decently. So maybe he's just like on tilt or whatever right now. And then Richard's going to lead out on the river with a nice little bluffy bluff, but it may not get through Oscar though. It got the JJ to fold. Yeah, I was going to say it got the JJ to fold, but the 9-9 is going to call. JC is not happy with that one, bro. First hand in, and now he's seeing what kind of table he's at. Now he sees the meta. All right. Button straddle for 10. Nice. Oscar with the ace-ace, 4-handed. This can be very valuable at times. Button straddle. Oscar's going to call. Richard's going to raise his ace-5 offsuit guarantee. What? Nobody's going to raise? No, nobody called. Richard's going to raise the ace-5, obviously. Is Oscar going to come back over the top pre-flop? You would assume that he would. No, he just calls. Did he just call? Wow, really setting the trap. Really setting the trap. Let's see. And he checks. Good. Don't donk out like he did before, like with a huge bet or something. 50 on the flop. Is he going to raise here? This is an acceptable time to raise now. Now we're fine. 150. Love it. Love it. Richard does not want to fold, but he also probably doesn't put Oscar on much. It's a very weird board to raise on. You're either representing 7-8 sets or like just a big draw. Dude, Richard might like legit like just ship it in on his face. I could easily see him doing that. He's that kind of player. Look at him. He doesn't want to fold the ace high. Asks to see a run out. No, he doesn't. For some reason I thought he asked to see the run out. Nice hand by Oscar. Very, very tricky trappy. I did not know he had that in him. Because like we were talking about earlier, just kind of like the energy that people get when they have good hands, they literally cannot help themselves at times to like over inflate the pot. And, you know, that's a very easy chance when someone raises their straddle to come back over the top pre-flop. But he called the flop, or so he called pre, then got the flop c-bet out of him. Looks like OMC is racking up. They must be tired / want to leave because this is a decent spot for them to battle it out. They got a nice dynamic going with Richard. They have position on Oscar. Right, we've got a 5-5 versus 9-8 right now. Somehow 5-5 is in the lead. I think Oscar's going to call again, bro. 20, he's got 2-pair now, even though it's a under pair to the board. Did Richard get there on the river with the 98? That's hilarious, bro. That's 120. Flush comes in, board is paired. Oscar lets it go. It's a really, really, really big value bet right there. Really, really big, but it's like to go from 20 to 120 just feels kind of big, honestly. Yeah, it's an overbet. That's an overbet. Yeah, that is a really, really big value bet there. I was right. My instincts were there, even though I could have seen the numbers. All right, we've got 10 minutes left, y'all. I'm just gonna start at this point here by saying thank you all so much for everything, for watching this video, all the videos before. I've been getting like way better, not only viewership, but like actual time spent watching the videos than I ever would have expected. So thank you guys so much for actually sticking around and, you know, watching these streams get broken down. I think there's some really incredibly interesting play that gets done here once again in this gold room at the Lucky Lady Casino that you can take to any of your live casinos. This is quintessential textbook low to mid stakes, no limit hold'em. You're going to see players like this at any casino in America. I promise you. So if you're looking to get more insight as to how the live players play, this is honestly one of the better ways to do it, because watching streams themselves can be very time consuming and you don't always necessarily get, you know, as much of a breakdown because people kind of just are in more of the moment, or I don't know if people are even told not to talk strategy as much, or people just don't know the strategy, or they don't really want to talk about it. But I feel like you're going to get a little bit more here cut and called, because we're going to take all the dead space out and leave you with only the goods. So of course, watch this stream when it's like live and going. I think that's honestly a really cool thing to do. You can watch that and then watch my analysis later. Just like listen to me if you remember the hands too. It's a lot easier than having to watch the hands go down as I talk about them. But I'm not saying don't watch the Lucky Lady stream. In fact, the exact opposite. Watch that stream first because my episodes come out way later than the actual real time episodes. So watch them every day, obviously. Watch Hustler every day, obviously. And then, you can watch my episodes when they come out when you want a little bit of extra coverage. So huge shout out to y'all for being here. Thank you so much. Big pot-ish here. Oscar with the queen, 10 high. Richard just like getting... Let's watch this pot real quick. What the hell just happened here? So this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking through all this. I'm thanking you guys for being here. Whereas we got a crazy hand brewing to finish off the night. Richard straddled to $10, picks up an ace-jack suited. Unknown with the ace-4 suited. And Oscar with the queen 10-0, man. Some pretty reasonable hands here for three-handed straddle pot. Pretty freaking reasonable hands here. Richard with the actual premium. We're going to go to a three-way flop of queen 5-4. It doesn't look too crazy, I mean, a top pair for Oscar, nobody with the bottom pair, and Richard with the 8. Oh, she just opened jams for like $30, $50. Okay, she opened jams for $50. Got it. So Richard is going to peel with his backdoor royal draw, obviously. Can't see him going anywhere. And Oscar is going to... Is he going to raise or is he going to call? He's going to call. All right, cool. So dry side pot, officially. But what happens on the turn that makes his pot so damn big? Jack on turn. Does Oscar... Oh, does Richard bet? Now, what's that bet for, bro? That's a weird bet. I mean, I guess to get value from 8x. I said 8x. I meant like 8, 9, 9, 7, 7, 5x, 4x. Gar hasn't shown to be like the stickiest. I guess he did call with 5, 5 on a paired board before, like just like a couple hands ago. So he could easily call here with word pairs. It's just a little thin in a dry side pot. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just a little thin in a dry side pot. What does Oscar do here? Looks like he's thinking about something more than just call. He raised. That's how we get here. He raises min. He clicks at him, bro. This hand is so annoying for Richard. I can already tell. Wow. So he clicks it at him, bro. Like, what a weird play in the dry side. I guess it's only because Richard looked kind of agonized when Unknown shoved the flop. Like, he really didn't have like a clear call, it seemed. So maybe now, dude, is Oscar really reading him for Jack X? Because like this is genuinely maybe one of the best plays we've seen in a while from like really anybody. This is actually a pretty sick value click back because now the math is completely different given the dry side pot, but he's reading him fairly accurately in the moment. Like results oriented, be damned. I can't fault him, but he does. Okay, so river 6x and he snap checks. That's an interesting check off of after check raising, low key, because like what gets there, bro? 7-8 gets there. He's not calling you a 7-8. I mean, maybe, but still, like that's a really 7-8 and deuce 3. That's it. 7-8 and deuce 3 is like a snap call on the flop. He's not agonizing calling on the flop with deuce 3. So weird check, man. Very weird hand overall. Very weird hand overall. Oscar checks and shows the pair of queens. He takes it down. Unknown is stacked and gone. Richard is adding some tilt. OMC is outie. JC is, I think, saying that he's done as well. It looks like we might get a couple. So that might be it. They are going to play a little more. Okay, let's see. We've got it three-handed. Richard raises out of the BB with 8-4 suited. Oscar is probably going to call just because they're playing a little, short-handed, loosey-goosey at this point. It's like a little end-of-night action. Check, bet, or lead out and then just fold, I assume. I think they're saying you want to do a bomb pot. And I think the answer is no. And I think we are done for the night. Presented by DGAF. Directors, Billy O'Neill, Lupe. I can read all these names. Lupe Nolan, Psycho. Shout out to Psycho. Eddie, Marty. That's awesome that all the people's names are in here. Post-production. Shout out to Hannah. Shout out to all you guys for staying here and watching this Lucky Lady stream produced by them. And then, kind of little sprinkled my touch on top of it with your local FPG. So thank you guys so much. Really appreciate y'all. Love you. And we will see you very soon for the next one. Bye-bye.